Yo, what's going on, chat? You already know what time it is, man. Drop an emoji. Let us know how y'all feeling today. Hey, Sean Brewer just said, Ron trying to get 100 likes before you start. You damn right. Y'all better like the video. Otherwise, we'll get into story time. And it'll just be y'all and Fluent.
don't do that. Don't do that. We will. Although I do have a dad. No, okay. I have a dad joke on the ready.
How y'all doing today, man? What's up with y'all? Talk to us.
Word.
Shit, not much, man. I'm in the middle of moving, man. That's why it's a bare white background behind me, man.
Right.
In the new cribbo, man. I got way more space here than I had at the other one. So, So yeah, I'm just in the middle of moving, man. And moving is hectic as hell, bro.
Man, Jesus, I hate moving.
Moving is ridiculous, boy.
Yeah, that's what's up. You can we get a sneak peek in what we might see in your background? What you coming with next?
I gotta switch it. I gotta switch the Giannis jersey for Curry because since he won, he got Finals MVP. And I gotta figure out the reason why I put the Kobe one up is because the whole Kobe challenge to Giannis, and so he was able to achieve it. So that's why I put both of them up there. So I gotta figure out somebody to correlate Curry to put him next to Curry, but. I got that. I got a Kobe mural for my 2-year anniversary, and some other stuff is in the works. It's in the works.
Got you. What's up with you, Ticket? I see you rocking that throwback Raptors hat. How you feeling, man?
I'm good. I told Loco he came on the show. He on his DJ Academics time right now.
Oh my God,
DJ Academics mansion and stuff. Lo out here chilling for real. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
the legend of winning.
I wish I could chill, man. Jesus, bro. I wish I'm trying to get like you, Ticket. Man, I'm just trying to get like you, man.
Hey, man, what we doing is legendary, man. You know what I'm saying? What we doing is legendary. And, everybody that's listening, man, you guys, y'all keep, hitting the like, hitting the subscribe, supporting the show and everything that's going on, and everybody that's bringing their different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree or disagree, it's just a good panel, man. It's good. It's great basketball talk. And, hopefully you guys will look forward to the show. The season get ready to get started, so it's really going to get good, And so, like I said, everybody just, stay tuned and just, stay blessed and let's get it going.
Absolutely. We are definitely just warming up, and y'all already know that. Chill. What's up, man? What's going on today?
Ain't nothing. It's crazy that you mentioned that too, Lo. In January it'll be 3 years, yo. It'll be 3 years. It'll be 3 years this January. I know it don't really sound like it because it's moving so fast. You talked about your mural. This January it'll be 3 years, yo.
That too. But I got this for my 2-year anniversary with my girlfriend. That's what I was
that's what you was talking about. Okay. I can dig it, no doubt.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, you're right though. Yeah, it is 3 years.
It'd be 3 years. Like, wow, man, that's crazy. So yeah, man, let's do it. We got some interesting stuff today. I'm down for the get down. I'm definitely down for the get down. So let's do it.
Facts.
Most definitely. Well, let's get straight into it. Lo, it's funny that you mentioned swapping the Giannis jersey for Steph's jersey because Giannis had a quote on who he believes is the best player in the NBA. And he said this, quote unquote, "I am one of the best players in the world." Question. Yes. But am I the best player in the world? No. That's the player that's taking his team to the finish line. That's Steph Curry until next year. Steph replied saying this.
He said what? Giannis Antetokounmpo. He said that you're the best. I thought you were making that up. No, he did. I guess they had their media day too, and he offered that. Guys. Well, I don't know. What was the question? Sorry. Thanks for telling me that. Thank you. Giannis. You get motivation if people are talking bad about you and putting you down and stuff like this is maybe too much the opposite way. People would be too nice. Nah, I don't know if it was gamesmanship to set the table for. I would say the same thing when you're facing the champions. Like that's part of like the nature of the league. We all want to win, the championship. And when you look at the team that's the last team standing, and who was playing the best, I was thinking the same thing about him last year. Coming off their run. So I appreciate the compliment. It's not going to soften me up to get complacent at all. He said what?
Okay, some of y'all in the chat said that y'all couldn't hear it well. Well, Steph basically said he was thinking the same thing about Giannis last year when he was coming off his championship. So he basically agrees with the sentiment that Giannis said, but also he also said he's not going to let that make him complacent. He's not going to let Giannis butter him up. But I want to hear from y'all. Do you think Giannis really believes this? Do you think Steph believes he's the best player in the world? Or is it just them being humble guys? Is that just their nature?
No, it's not. It's that fake humble stuff, man. That's all it is. It's fake. It's fake humbleness. I mean, that's not a knock on either one of them, to be quite frank with you. But it's fake humbleness. And I think that first of all, this is the reason why I don't like using players' quotes to make arguments for myself. Because Giannis, like literally last year, claimed that Kevin Durant was the best player, and he did not win a championship. So now all of a sudden he's gauging who's the best player based off who's the last man standing, which FYI, for a lot of people, that's been the rather consistent theme of like determining who's the best player in the NBA. So I don't, it's just Giannis being fake humble. Also Curry's fake humble as well. He get real petty real quick when he needs to, but every it's interesting. It's a good quote. It's nice for media day, but the reality is like, it's just fake humbleness. And this is the reason why I don't use NBA players as a reference to my arguments, because they switch their arguments every time you ask them this question. They'll switch it every other day. They'll just switch it up.
Got you. Chill. How you feel about this?
Well, I just don't ever remember hearing Charles saying Jordan was the best player on the planet. I don't ever remember hearing David Robinson saying that Olajuwon was the best player on the planet. And the reason, even though they might have thought that, they never said that. And the reason why they never said that is because that competitive edge, they can't lose it. Now, I can respect you and I can respect what you've done as being a champion. I can respect the player that you are. But to say, yo, he's the best on the planet, I don't think that's going to give them I don't think that's going to give Steph Curry an edge. I don't think Steph Curry is going to soften his stance. But I also don't think that helps these guys out at all, because it keeps the game competitive and it keeps the rivalries alive when you say that. When you're basically saying, yo, you're the best, it's not bowing down, but it's almost conceding. And when you're talking about basketball, you're talking about football and stuff like that. I mean, you can pay compliments to guys, but to take it there, even if that's true, even if Steph Curry is the best in the world, even if Giannis is the best in the world, would I ever say that? No.
Got you. Fluent, you want to tap in?
Man, you're going to make me sound like such an old head. This is such a young kid thing to do. Oh, he's the best. Oh, no, he's the best. Whoever wins the championship is the best. Oh, we all love each other. That's what, Chill kind of alluded to it. You would never hear the only time Barkley said that's when I knew Jordan was better was like years and years after the fact, when he lost in the finals and they were talking about it. And he was like, that was the first time I ever felt a player was better than me. Was that after that 92 final? That now everybody grows up together, going to AAU together. They grow up, they hang out. It's just a different thing. So I'm not surprised. Giannis is a nice guy. I'm not surprised he doesn't say everybody's better than him, because he's a likable kind of. He's not that kind of guy. Mm-hmm. Curry was more realistic in the sense that he's just trying to soften me up. He's trying to soften me up. I know he's trying to soften. It's not going to work. But you notice, and again, to Lowe's point, that's why I don't like taking players' quotes either, because they're looking at it in the moment. Right? Curry said, well, last year I thought it was Giannis, because Giannis won. Now I won. So now I'm the best. So I don't take it from much more than it is. I don't like it. I don't like them saying that person's better, that person's better. I'd rather have a player say, I'm the best player in the league and I'm going to show you. For me, I prefer that.
Understandable. Ticket, what's your thoughts and comments on this back and forth between Giannis and Steph?
Hey, you're on Hezzy. I see you in the chat. Salute to you, bro. This is my problem with this era. And this is, again, why I say the stuff I say. And this even includes Giannis. Even though Giannis went a different route, this is my problem with these guys, man. They're not cutthroat. They're not killers. Like for example, these dudes, Giannis saying this stuff that he's saying, man, he just said LeBron James was the best player in the world 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he just said LeBron James is the best player in the world. 2 weeks ago, look it up. Now you're saying it's Steph Curry because he did this and did that. That's the one part about Giannis that I don't like. That's the reason why they lost this year. Like literally, they could have went to the NBA Finals without Chris Middleton this year. They may have lost in the finals, but they could have went to the finals. But this is the part about Giannis that I haven't talked about a lot. But if I had to be critical of him, I hate this part about him, bro. He don't have killer instinct in him. And I'm gonna tell you something. When I go back and I listen to his comments now, and I go back and I watch their series they played against the Boston Celtics, they were up 3-2 in that series. His teammates were playing bad, missing shots. Let me give you guys a difference between Giannis, Kobe, and Michael Jordan. Kobe and Mike would have put the fear in God of their teammates of missing those shots. All those shots that his role players were missing in the playoffs, they'd been afraid to miss those shots they were playing with Kobe and Mike. Kobe and Mike were threatening to fight you, beat your ass, take your food. We heard Mike was taking dudes' meals from him because they wasn't playing well. Them dudes, they wouldn't let him eat. And see, those dudes play bad with Giannis, it's cool. It's smooth sailing. That is the problem I have is the mentality of these guys. I like the fact that Giannis didn't stack the deck. He went and got the chip, stayed home, 10 toes down, did it his way. But that part about him, to me, is what is always going to separate him from getting to that level that he could potentially have gotten to, you know what I'm saying, on being on Kobe and then right up underneath Mike's level, man, because of his mentality and you giving it up to these guys that you're still competing against. I don't like that, man. Like I said, he's not even that way with his own teammates, man.
Wait a minute, though.
I don't think you can do that anymore, though.
Well, I think you absolutely can. Sure, you can. You absolutely can do it. But I don't know what else.
In the locker room, they don't hit, bro.
I don't know what else he
in the locker room. But I mean, I don't.
What else? Kobe Bryant would have you for the game.
You don't see.
Before the game,
Kobe challenging the way those guys did. It's a different
mentality. If you don't make these shots, I'm beating the hell out of you tonight. You're going to get whooped tonight. It's not going to be no playing. I'm going to punch you in your face.
Coaches can't even think that way anymore. It's a different era. It's a different area. I don't think you can get away with as much as you did.
Fluent. You don't have to ask me. You can ask anybody that was in that locker room. You can go ask Lamar Odom.
I'm not saying they didn't do it. I'm not saying they didn't do it. I'm saying it's harder.
But even if that's true, though,
but even if that's did it today. Hold on, come on. Mike would have did it today. Remember when Malik Monk was on the sideline and was doing? Mike smacked him upside his head in front of everybody. He didn't care.
He is the check writer, though. He is the check signer.
That's a bit different.
That's a little bit different. But even
how's it different?
Look what he did.
This is the boss. This is the dude who's signing the checks.
Even in Washington,
look at him like that.
He pressured Kwame so much that he broke down. Players they're not built the same way anymore. You roll your eyes. I'm not saying I like it. It's just reality. You can't challenge people the same way like you used to. There's very few people.
No, we're not. Ticket.
There's very few people in the league. It isn't like that no more. No, we don't have to push that. We don't have to push that narrative, dog. We can push a narrative. We can push a narrative that you guys are soft. We don't like it. Get tougher.
But hold on, though, Ticket. Everybody leads in a different way. I mean, Tim Duncan wasn't like that. Not only was Tim Duncan not like that, Tim Duncan was one of the most mild-mannered guys, but Tim Duncan was cutthroat. I watched him go 20. I watched him go 20-20 in the NBA Finals closeout game. How much more? Hold on. How much more could Giannis have done than what he already did? You got to remember too, with Middleton going out, these guys that are on the crew, that's on his crew right now. So now Connaughton, his role goes up. Grayson Allen, his minutes go up. These guys now have to do more stuff that they're not used to doing. Add all of that up with the fact that Giannis went 40-20 in that game. How much more could he have possibly done in order to ensure them to win? I don't think that
time those guys got to be willing to make those plays, bro.
And it's not that they're not.
Michael Jordan against the Utah Jazz in Game 6 in the final scored 40-some half the team points. But guess what?
Yeah, 45
when
in
it
that
was
game.
Time down the stretch and he needed other guys to make shots to get him to that last shot, guess what? Those guys are making those shots all down the stretch. Steve Kerr, he's going to hit those threes. John Paxson is going to hit those shots. DJ Armstrong was going to hit those shots. You know why? Because they knew what was coming in the locker room if they didn't. And all I'm saying is this. No, that is facts. You can ask those guys. Steve Kerr even just said it a couple weeks ago. You can ask them. So the thing with Giannis Antetokounmpo is this. Bro, you run the team. You control it. You run the team. If Giannis Antetokounmpo flex his muscles on one of them teammates, nobody's going to do nothing, man. Nothing.
But I agree with Chill. Like, there's different ways to lead. Like, everybody doesn't lead in that manner, and then people have been hyper successful
and be successful too.
And that's why these dudes running around here wearing skinny jeans. That's why they wearing skirts. That's why they wearing lipstick. That's why they wearing pocketbooks. That's why they wearing purses. Because it ain't too many.
That's where we live today. That's where we live today. You don't see people leading.
Like that, but there were people like that in the 80s too.
There was people. There was more than Dennis Rodman.
It was definitely more. It was definitely more.
No, here's the problem. Here's what happens with today. The way that it's set up, if Giannis flexes his muscle like that, what ends up happening is that that player now doesn't want to play on the team anymore. That player,
let him go.
But you can't just let everybody go.
Let him go. I
love Kobe. There's nobody who's a bigger Kobe fan than me. But let's be honest, there were times where Kobe didn't have the best teammates, and part of it was his own fault because they didn't want to play with him because they couldn't handle the pressure.
And like he told them, they were soft.
I'm not disagreeing, but I'm saying you don't. That's not the only way to lead is through that way. And I feel like there's been a shift where more guys are like, hey, let me be your friend than your enemy and lead you through.
What did Larry Bird say?
And lead through here. All the guys you mentioning, 80s, 90s. Kobe was like the last of that generation. Kobe was the last of that.
That's what Larry Bird said.
And Larry Bird did say that. However, if you want to have fun and win, you still are going to play with this dude, James. No doubt about that. But add that to the fact that when you're playing back then, these dudes did lead by example. You had dudes like Jordan. Hold on. You did have dudes
by would have missed the playoffs with 2 top 75 players on his team.
You think dudes like see that's not fair. That's not fair.
That's such a bad
not only is that a bad argument, it's not fair because you're the same one ticket that told us that you gave
ask that question again. Let me ask that question again.
2 top 75 players. He's about this year with LeBron missing the playoffs, even though everybody was hurt. I mean, that's
well, I guess.
Chill, finish. Hold on a second. Finish that point, Chill.
Go ahead.
Well, not only did he lose his best defensive interior player, Ticket, you're the same one who defends Russell Westbrook and talks about how much they gave him the ingredients, but they didn't let Russ be Russ. Meanwhile, now you're going to bash him for not making the playoffs with this whole team being disjointed. No, I heard everything that you just said, Ticket. It's not the same thing.
What I'm saying is this. The thing about Russ I said is that he deserved his part of the blame, but everybody was putting all the blame on him when there was enough blame to go around. You got Terry Clough, AD, never stay healthy, played unmotivated.
So if that's true, then you can't tell us. Then you can't turn around and tell us that LeBron James didn't win with 2 top 75 players. That point right there, what you just said, you got an 86 right there.
Russ played 78 games.
Russ did play 78 games, and he wasn't very good. And the reason why he wasn't very good is because exactly what you said.
He was 18-7-7.
No, he was on his average day, not on his worst day.
That was his worst day.
His average day.
He was better. He was better than 70% of the point guards in the NBA.
He was not. Whoa.
As far as their stats is concerned,
on his worst day,
I said he was better than 60% of the point guards, damn near, in the league on his worst day with his numbers. Okay, you tell me. Hold on. You tell me out of the 30-some teams in the NBA, you tell me 20 point guards that was straight up better than Russell Westbrook last year.
Well,
I can name them.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, well, I want to say this real quick. Going back to the leader thing, like Chill said, like there's so many different ways of leading. You don't have to lead that way. Even when Kobe talked about leading in that manner, he even referenced Bill Russell several times, and Bill Russell openly admitted himself that he didn't lead in that manner. So there's other ways, and that's either something that Kobe was talking about himself as well.
He didn't lead in that manner because they would have hung his ass.
That's something completely different. He was on
his own team,
right? That's exactly what he was. Not only
the era Bill Russell played in,
and look at the era he played on.
But he didn't. But Bill Russell openly admitted that he didn't. But Bill Russell also openly admitted he didn't believe in leading that way either. The point I'm making though is that there's so many other players who led in several ways.
That's like telling Harriet Tubman before she had enough people around her that, hey, let's go ahead and hulk up and muscle up against the man. No, it wasn't gonna happen like that.
Well, first of all, hold on, Lo. First and foremost, let's get to the bottom of the Bill Russell logic. The Bill Russell logic, number one, the reason why they weren't selling out is because the Boston Celtics were too black. So this wasn't a white team. So let's make sure that we're clear on that.
Well, who were they owned by?
And not only who were they owned by, who put this group together? Red Auerbach was the one who put this group together, and he was the one who led them like that. Now,
and Bill Russell wasn't getting away. He wasn't going to be able to do none of that stuff that Mike and Kobe did in that era.
That's not true. And it wouldn't be. It would not be. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, name the players who led that way. Mike, Kobe. Who else?
It. Isaiah Thomas did not lead that way.
Which means there was 29. Which means there was 20. Isaiah
Thomas ordered hits. He ordered hits on Michael Jordan. He
on other teams.
No.
We're talking about on their own team.
Player in the face.
I'm saying Isaiah.
So just think about that. In a 30-year stretch,
and orchestrated
40-year stretch. In a 40-year stretch since 1980. Before Jordan came in, you've had 2-3 guys that led that way. That means 29 other teams weren't led that way. And last time I checked, they weren't the only 2 teams that won chips. So all these guys are saying, and I'm agreeing with both of you when I say I like the way Kobe and Mike did it. Don't get me wrong, but there's other ways to do it.
And be successful.
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
Today, now the other way.
Now I'm going to put Isaiah Thomas didn't choke out his coach in front of the world.
No, Isaiah Thomas wasn't out there trying to punch his own player. Ticket. Don't do that ticket.
Isaiah Thomas tried to punch his own player out in front of the world.
Don't do that ticket. Don't do that ticket. Before you go any further, Tone, just so you know, him putting his hands on that coach, that was because he got into a fight with Bill Cartwright, and his coach looked him in his eye and said, "Yo, choke me, do me, because we don't want you to get thrown out of the game." That's number one.
Okay, let me ask you a question. That's
number one.
So what happened with him and Bill Laimbeer then? Why Bill Laimbeer broke his hand? Messing with Isaiah.
Bill Laimbeer didn't break his hand. Isaiah Thomas broke his hand on Bill Laimbeer.
That's because
here's the thing. But here's the thing that you're leaving out. You're leaving out the fact that was the year he retired. So they were over at that point. Add that to the fact that.
What about Larry Bird? Larry Bird didn't lead like that?
No, Larry Bird was not leading like that. No, he wasn't.
He was not. He was not.
No, he was not. He was not talking to Robert Parrish. He was not talking to Robert Parrish like that. He was not talking to Dennis Johnson like that. He was not talking to Kevin McHale like that. He damn sure wasn't talking to Cedric Maxwell like that. No, he was not. He was not talking to no
leaders in the history of the NBA.
He was one of the most cutthroat leaders on the court. No, he was not doing that. No, he was not doing that. No, he was not doing that. Ticket. No way was he doing that. Not to those guys. Not only. Not only.
Larry Bird know how he was, man.
And we know how Larry Bird was as a player, right? We absolutely know how Larry Bird was as a player. But they also saw Larry Bird leading by example. Larry Bird wasn't cursing people out like you talk about, or flipping over tables and things like that. He wasn't doing that sort of stuff.
Larry Bird, that's a lie, bro. Ask Cedric Maxwell. Ask any of them dudes. You can go ask any of them cats on the team. Ask Kevin McHale. Ask any of them.
He was punching Kevin McHale.
Hold on. And this is the bad part about this. We got almost 1,000 people listening to these lies. You guys will believe this. You guys are really gonna believe this. This is sad, man. You telling these people that Larry Bird wasn't cutthroat?
I ain't said no. Don't misconstrue my words. That's not what we're saying. That's not what I'm saying at all.
You can. I'll give you anyone you want. It's still max 5 in the last 40 years. The point is, there's other ways to win. There's other ways to do it and win.
You can look this stuff up.
But not only that. Again, the concept we're talking about right now, especially if you know Kobe.
We talking about leadership style.
I know. But what we're saying though is that the idea of having different leadership styles and being successful in it is existed for years. It's something that Kobe Bryant himself had openly admitted to.
Let me ask you a question, Lo.
Yes.
Lo, you say all that, right? And see, you got these peons saying, "Oh, Larry Bird wouldn't punch nobody." Bro, Larry Bird was out there punching Laimbeer and all them other guys.
We're not saying that. We're not saying that they didn't get physical with their opponent. We're talking about
he got physical with his own teammates and his opponents.
Who?
Ask them cats in practice. Go ask Maxwell. Go ask Cornbread. Ask them dudes how Larry Bird was. Larry Bird literally would fight dudes in practice, bro.
And also, we don't even know if Giannis doesn't do that either. But again, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, D Wade. There's been several players who haven't get physical altercations with their teammates to get them motivated. And again, Kobe himself. Once more, Kobe himself articulated there's various different ways in which you can lead a team. He led the team he wanted to lead in that manner. He also said that, hey, it's not meant for everybody. He identified the flaws in which his growing was. But reality is, the mentality is this. I don't think Giannis, going back to the original question, I don't think Giannis believes what he's saying. Like, I just think he's just chatting. I just think he's just talking. I just think he's just saying, I think he's just saying it to be politically correct.
Hold on.
I don't believe
24, 25-year-olds a damn lie about Larry Joe Bird.
Okay,
y'all lied about Isaiah
Larry
Lloyd
Bird would
Thomas.
talk smack, but I don't remember hearing the story of him fighting
Isaiah
a teammate.
Thomas was cutthroat to his teammates and to the other team. Isaiah Thomas was a straight, clean-cut gangster from Chicago.
He was, now wait a minute. Nobody is this. Nobody is denying that. Nobody is denying that I stand on that. I stand on it that the Bad Boys were a gang and Isaiah Thomas was the leader. I still stand. I stand on that. The Bad Boys were a gang and Isaiah Thomas was the leader. No doubt about that. I also stand on the logic that when the cameras are off and the lights are off, and every last one of these people that ain't around, and Giannis's people who are around, who he trusts, he absolutely says, "I'll bust Steph Curry ass." Steph Curry can't do nothing. Steph Curry can't do nothing with me. When those lights and those cameras are right, when those lights. And no, we're not trying to change it. Hold on. What we're doing is we're getting to the bottom of what we were talking about. When those lights and those cameras are off, let's not make Giannis out to be some mild-mannered guy. When those lights and those cameras are off, he is saying, when ain't nobody around, I'll bust Kevin Durant ass. He's absolutely saying that.
The only reason why I say that, the only reason why I agree, Ticket.
That's all I see.
No, but the only reason why I agree with that, Ticket, is because, like, I can't imagine somebody that mild-mannered having to go over that much adversity in his life alone, let alone the grind he had to go from his rookie year up into being an MVP caliber season, and him being this mild-mannered the entire time. And there's several, and I do mean several examples of the level of work ethic, practice, not only pushing himself, but pushing some of his teammates that gets talked about. They don't get talked about enough. I'm talking his teammates as well. That really and truly don't get talked about enough, quite frankly. But I think because there's excerpts of Brooke Lopez talking about it as well, how he practices and how they go after and stuff.
Well,
like that.
Take it a step further than that, Lo. As a leader, at some point, you're gonna get challenged. And not only are you gonna get challenged, you got two choices. You either accept the challenge or you back down. And if you back down, you are not the leader. So with Giannis becoming the leader.
Don't let them say this to y'all, man.
Hold up, Ticky, hold up.
Like that too, Ron. KG was like that too. Ask Kendrick Perkins. He talk about it all the time. KG was like that too. He was cutthroat. KG would get in your face, right to fight you. He was cutthroat.
So was Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is like that too.
That leadership style. That leadership style was real, bro. All I'm saying is that Giannis is a great player, no doubt about it. He's a Greek freak. He's unstoppable. All I said is that if he had the mentality of what Kevin Garnett had, if he had the Kobe Bryant mentality, if he had the Jordan mentality, they go to the NBA Finals last year because they don't lose to the Celtics because you're up 3-2. Hold on. You're up 3-2. You're up 3-2 with the kill shot. If that's Mike, if that's Kobe, in that same situation with that team, they get that series home. You know why?
I can't say that when Kobe blew a 3-1 lead.
Bro, Kobe Bryant would have beat the hell out of Grayson Allen. He'd have missed all the
he blew a 3-1 lead. He blew a 3-1 lead. I can't say that.
No, I said with that team he had.
Yeah, and Kobe was on a team that was good enough to have a 3-1 lead and couldn't win one more game.
I didn't say that. Talking about they had a 3-1 lead because of him.
I get that, but the rest of the team all was still there. So it doesn't matter how many punches Kobe throws in the locker room if his teammates are missing shots.
100% confident in Game 6. He had 50 points.
That's why him and Phil had the beef. And then they said that he didn't shoot no more in that last game. That's because Phil told him stop shooting and use his teammates. And Kobe said, why? When I got us here doing like this.
100% confident he had 50 in game 6, and they still lost.
And they still lost.
100% confident that he had 50.
All right, y'all. We got to continue to keep it pushing. I know y'all like that first segment. That was a spicy first segment. It was a lot of good points that was got off.
Just want to make sure. Hey, Lo, you know me, Lo. That's all I'm gonna say, Lo.
He had 50, and Lamar had 20. Lamar had 22, and they still lost. Oh my God!
You lied about Bill Russell. You lied about Isaiah.
I did not lie about Bill Russell. No, that's no. I did not lie about Bill Russell.
Here's the
I did not lie
ticket.
about Bill Russell.
That man said Larry Bird.
That's not a lie.
No, ticket.
Not a lie.
No one said that.
Nobody's saying that, ticket. No, nobody is saying that, ticket. But
was Larry Bird cutthroat?
Larry Bird was
cutthroat.
Larry Bird was a cutthroat. Larry Bird was a cutthroat.
We were talking about.
Was he cutthroat?
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard. But I will tell you this.
No, he would walk it. No, he would walk into practice. Listen, it depends on your definition. So, like, Larry Bird would walk into practice and be like, "Hey, sorry, Pinky, I'm kicking your ass today," or whoever was having to guard. He would talk trash, but he wouldn't be like, "Hey, if you miss 10 shots, I'm gonna punch you in the face." Like, it wasn't that.
Bro, and to add to your point, Tony, and real quick, we can move on. Real quick.
You don't know this. This
real
is
quick.
whole field right here.
To move on. So, with that being said,
go ahead. This is the last point, Chill.
Right.
And
with that being said, there's no way I believe that Giannis is the best player on the planet, and he's. Yes, you're doing a great job. Okay, next time we'll try it again tomorrow. We'll try this again. Okay, guys, we're just fine. We'll try. No, I'm sure that Giannis is in that locker room from time to time when those cameras are off. And I'm sure he's doing that. There's no way that he's we'll try it again next week. Okay, guys, we'll try. No, that is no way that he's doing that. No way.
Scared of Kobe, Mike, KG. Larry, Isaiah, they weren't scared of Giannis like that. Sorry, don't work on me. Sayonara.
All right, y'all. Let's keep it pushing. I actually posted a poll in the chat. I said, was Kobe's leadership style good or bad? 68% of the poll said his style is actually, in fact, good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into these super chats. Y'all flooding us with super chats. Appreciate that. We're gonna show y'all some love as long as y'all keep showing us love. Let's go. My man Devon Williams, he said, my cuz was telling me Melo is better than Pierce. Do y'all agree with that?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Because take KG and Ray Allen away from Paul Pierce, and he ain't do more than Melo. Yes.
But they're in the same ballpark, though. They are in the same ballpark.
No, they're not that far away, Lo. I'm not saying that. No, I'm not. It's not like Melo is head and shoulders better than him. But I do think that overall he's better than Paul Pierce. I do believe that.
I'm gonna lean more Pierce, though.
I'm more on the Pierce side.
I'm gonna go Pierce. It's close.
Got you.
And again, it's close. Yeah, it's close.
It's close. Yeah.
Jack Hack with the super chat. He said, when the season starts, need to see y'all twice a week, maybe even live reaction after big games. And when the playoffs come, best show by far.
We're doing what we can, my man. We're doing what we can, my man. We're doing what we can.
Facts, and who knows? Y'all
that last part for sure is
actual. We're doing what we can, brother. We're doing what we can.
Hey, look, and this is not entertainment. I'm telling facts. You can look this up. Larry Bird was beating the hell out of dudes on that team. These are facts. Isaiah Lloyd Thomas was a clean-cut, cold-hearted gangster from the shot. That's a fact. That's not no entertainment. That's a fact. If you don't believe me, you go in the hot tub time machine and take your ass back to that era and go in the locker room and you go ask all them dudes in there. You go ask Dennis Rodman. You go ask Rick Mahorn. You go ask
we just don't know. We don't know if Giannis is doing that or not. That's all we just saying. I think it's too. Ain't
nobody come out with no broken bones, no black eyes.
Why they gotta do that? That's crazy. What? They on the club.
All right, y'all. Let's keep it pushing. We got 230 likes and it's 950 people watching this video. Can we please get the likes up to start this video, and we're gonna get to the next topic. Super chat from Usist. He said, what does Jrue Holiday have to do to win a Defensive Player of the Year award?
Keep doing what he's doing. That's it. I still stand on the logic that Jrue Holiday is the best perimeter defender in the game. I felt like that from 2018 when they beat Portland, when they swept Portland out the playoffs. I felt like that, even though Kawhi Leonard doing what Kawhi is doing, and I've seen signature moments from Jrue Holiday with him basically shutting the door on Damian Lillard. Never seen Damian Lillard play that bad. And I'll have a lot of people try to sell me on the logic that they were blitzing Damian. Yeah, they were blitzing Damian, but the catalyst to that was Jrue Holiday playing one-on-one defense. And the same logic happened 4 years later when they played in the NBA Finals against Chris Paul, when he picks up Chris Paul 94 and he's slowing down their transition game, which is what Phoenix was doing to get themselves going. So now when Jrue Holiday does that and he slows down their transition game and he starts the clock, when I mean starts the clock, I mean the shot clock, now it's 10, 12 seconds when they're getting their offense started. Now they're rushing and they're turning the basketball over. Jrue Holiday has had signature moments. I believe he's the best perimeter defender in the game. And if he can continue to do what he's doing, I think that he will win the Defensive Player of the Year.
It's going to be tough on a team with like Giannis and Brook Lopez. That's the only problem. Like very rarely does a DPOY when it's like one or two other like worthy candidates of the same award. It's kind of tough. Kind of tough.
He's where I don't know this offhand. If you guys know it offhand, where have the Bucks finished in terms of defensive ranking rating?
Last year they were slightly above average. That was mainly because
they was 12. I think
12's not going to cut it. So if he wants to win DPOY, the team needs to be in that top, because typically it's that top 1, 2, 3 team defense, and it's the best defender on that top defensive team. If they're at the 12, 15, he's not going to win it. It's just that's not the way they pick.
That championship year, they was higher though. That was closer.
I'm not saying I'm not saying but it's all of those things have to go into play. So he's got a lot of negatives against him. They have to be 1, 2, 3. It's tough because he's got Giannis there too, who's also in the competition for DPOY. Yeah, so they're just. I think it's impossible for him to win it. To be honest.
Okay.
Would that if that's fair? If that's true, Tone, would that be the same reason why Scottie never won one?
Yeah, 100%. Because you can't. How do you pick between the two of those, right? And you're saying even when they're at the top,
Dennis got there too,
and the last 3P had Dennis there too. So. That's why he probably deserved one in his career, but he's not getting it. Like, just think about it. I know we talk about Jordan, 200 steals on 100 blocks. He did it twice and won a DPOY. The only other player in NBA history to do it,
Olajuwon.
Pippen came close.
All right, y'all. Another super chat from Nathan Rajiv. He said LeBron is about to pass Kareem scoring this season and be top 5 in assists by the end of his career. Ticket and chill. Thoughts?
Amazing. Go ahead, go Ticket, man. Let them know how amazing it is.
Pass Kareem. How you feel, Ticket?
Greatness, man. I mean, when you're a dude like LeBron James and you've been in the game for that long and you're able to get up at this age and do what you do, it's pure greatness. I mean, not everybody can do that, bro. I mean, the man is 37, going on 38 years old. To get up, your body is killing you every day. I don't think people understand how much he got to go through at that age to get up and do what he do. To be able to do what he does is amazing. And that's never been my problem with LeBron James. My problem has never been his work ethic. My problem has never been none of that type of stuff. The only problem I have with him is that he stacked the deck to win. And I thought that he was great enough that he didn't have to do that. That's my only argument when I argue with all these jabronis online. Is that the man stacked the deck. He was great enough that he could have did it the same way Giannis did it. And then guess what? Everybody would have came to him. He would have did it so much, everybody would have came to him. Because
do you believe he could have done it in Cleveland though?
I'm gonna prove it. Once you take that over, guess what? Paul George was willing to go over there at his peak when he was coming from Indiana. The only reason why Paul George didn't go over there is because LeBron James didn't commit long term. But PG had already accepted that he would take a trade to go to Cleveland and play with LeBron James if LeBron committed long term, and LeBron didn't. That's why PG didn't accept the trade. Nobody wanted to live there if LeBron wasn't going to be committed long term. But as I told you, when you the man, people will make sacrifices to come and play with you if you give them a chance to win. And it's just that simple, bro. And I feel like LeBron James is legendary. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's I mean, bro, like I said, man, I mean, he's a warrior when he goes in the gym, man. To be able to, like I said, bro, the body in shape. You never see him run around here looking like Charles Barkley and all them dudes did towards the end of their career. That means something. That has to mean something, that you have commitment, dedication. And then think about this. This ain't even year 20 for LeBron. This year 18 and a half because he missed a lot of time. So everybody's saying, oh, it took him 20 years to do it. No, actually, he did it in lesser time than what y'all give him credit for, because the man in the last 4 years have missed a year and a half of his career.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, he's missed over 120 some games the last 3-4 years. Yep. So when you think about that, like I said, man, LeBron James, to me, like, he's a great player. He's given a lot of players, like, even though we can say, okay, a lot of players didn't fit with him, he's made a lot of players. He made AD, regardless of what anybody says. He made AD. You know what I'm saying? He took Kyrie to another level. These are all factual. This is all factual information. And so, like I said, for him to be able to be in the league, to break those records at this age, you know he's going to break it, barring any type of serious injury. It's amazing, bro. That's all I got to say. To hear this, and not from Ticket in particular, this question in particular, this is just icing on the cake for me. This is just something that's adding to the legend. I already feel the way I do about James. He's in year 19. It's not like he's going to show me something different from this point on. It's not like he's in year 5 and he's still getting better. James is in year 19, and I already got my mind made up about who he is and what he's done. So him passing Jabbar and becoming the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, that's just adding to the legend. Him being in the top 5 all-time in assists, that just compounds the logic that he's one of the best, if not the, I think he's the best playmaker in NBA history. That just compounds that. So him being in the top 10 all-time in steals, that just compounds the great defender that he is. So all of these things are just things that just add to the legend. It's not changing my logic on how he is or what kind of player I think he is. I've already felt like that about him anyway. He's the most complete basketball player that I've ever seen. He's gotten better more than anybody that I've ever seen, longer than I've ever seen. He's just the best that I've ever seen. And all of this stuff that he's doing and the things that he's going to continue to do, that's just adding to the legend for me.
You know, it's funny. All this tells you is something you already know. That no one, there's just zero competition when it comes to peak longevity. It's LeBron James and then everybody else. That wasn't even a debate anyways. So once he passes and gets to those things, it's just, I think, confirms it for all the people who are trying to deny it for whatever reason.
Well, it is though, Tone. It is though, Tone, because I've gotten into debates with people where, you know, people will match up Jordan's 7 years and nobody's had a 7-year stretch like what Jordan did. And to be quite honest with you, when I think about Michael Jordan from 1987 to 1993, that 6-year stretch, he was phenomenal, man. I can't really, we talking about a defensive player of the year. We're talking about a league MVP, 2 league MVPs. Is it 2? 3 league MVPs, I'm sorry. 3 league MVPs and defensive player of the year, 3 NBA championship. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. No doubt about that.
I remember I saw something, I think I posted this, about a 3-year stretch where he played 82 games every season. He missed 0 games, won 3 championships, 3 finals MVPs. I'm talking about Jordan. And there's never been a 32-month stretch where anyone has achieved that much, won an MVP, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But again, that's why I say peak longevity. No one has done this for 18, 19 years at this level. So that's it.
Yo, I can't believe y'all got me defending LeBron James. These motherfuckers talking about he ain't make AD. Let me tell you clown something, man.
Oh, my God.
He made AD. Without LeBron James, AD is Patrick Ewing. Straight up.
That's not
that bad. That's not that bad.
That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all.
Without LeBron James, AD's not top 75. He's not a world champion. He's terry cloth. That means he's very soft. That means he's missing 25 to 30 games every year.
He's already going to miss.
He's not a leader. He's Patrick Ewing. He's a dude who put up great stats. And what do we say about Pat Ewing now?
But Pat Ewing is a top 75 player, though.
You're not hearing me, though. AD would not have been.
Why?
Without LeBron James, AD ain't cracking the top 75.
Whoa! I see what you're saying.
You think if AD would stayed in New Orleans, you think it'd have been top 75?
I see what you're saying. Like if we stopped right when they stopped at the top 75 list, I agree with what you're saying. If they stopped it right when they stopped the top 75 list,
he ain't top 75, right? But if
I don't know why, but that's another story. But yeah, but I think that if he kept going the way he was going, I think he would have ended his career. But in the middle of his career being top 75, I agree. I don't.
Yeah, he wouldn't be there at this point.
He wouldn't.
You think AD could have ended his? Hold on, Lo. The only reason why he played all them games the season they won is because LeBron pushed him. He dragged this bum through the finals.
That's only one season, though. Ticket. It's not like he's been there for 6 or 7 years. It's only one season. And then last year he got hurt.
In the other season, he did a ballerina 360 in midair and fell on his ankle and started crying like a chump.
He would have been. His resume alone just would have spoke. I mean,
he would not have played enough games, man. He would not have played enough games.
He would have had like 8 All NBA teams, like 7 to 8 All Defensive teams.
Okay, so I'll say this. If he didn't go to LA, if he didn't go to LA, he doesn't get into the top 75. You're absolutely correct. What happens though, by the end of his career,
he probably would.
He's in the top 100 because we're having a top 100.
Top 100, okay. He ain't top 75.
He's missed the top 75.
I don't even put him in the top 1. I can name 100 dudes that had a better career than
him.
Can't
name 100.
No,
you can't.
I don't think that's that crazy.
It's not that crazy to name 100.
No, you can't.
Bro, 100 all time?
No, you cannot.
No,
but I'm talking. Let's be clear. We talking about by the end of his career.
By
the end of his career.
That was the point.
When they came out with the list.
By the end of his career.
No. Yeah, when they came out with the list, I do believe AD was one of the premature ones because Dwight should have had him.
But even when they came out with the list, he's also talking about without playing with LeBron too. So
we agree. We get that point. When they came out with the list, and if he wasn't on LA, you're right. But if he had stayed in New Orleans and just did another 4 or 5 years, like he did the 4 or 5 years
at the rate that he was going,
time out. This is what y'all missing. He's Terry Clough.
Oh, we already know about
Larry Saul.
We already know. Whoa. He's not.
That means he's not playing all them games. Hold on.
He got 4 all NBA teams and 4 all defensive teams already.
Let me say this to you, right? And you're saying that before then, right? Now watch this. Chilltown. AD was struggling to play 65 games per season,
right,
on average for his whole career.
For sure.
Before he played with LeBron. LeBron pushed him the year they won the chip to get those games they played. Now, if LeBron James isn't an influence on this man's career to push him to play more games, how in the hell do y'all think that this big Dumbo in New Orleans would have been able to physically survive? Because he already wasn't motivated to play. In New Orleans, this man hurt his pinky. He missed 30 games. So the injuries he would have had going forward, because his injuries were getting worse. The time he came back, when he got hurt and he came back for the playoffs in LA, he would have never came back to New Orleans if he wasn't playing with LeBron James. Are we under the understanding that he would have just stayed in New Orleans the whole time? Like he would have never not. Let's just say for the sake of argument, he doesn't get with. Let's just say for the sake of argument. Wait a minute though. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Does he? Let's say he doesn't get with James. Let's say he just goes somewhere else. Let's say he go to New York.
He go to Boston.
But let's just say he goes.
It really gets ugly then.
And why does he get ugly?
Because Boston ain't gonna lie. The medical staff.
Because he's Terry Clough.
the medical staff.
And listen. One thing AD can't deal with. I'm gonna tell you the one thing I know he can't deal with. He gonna get it this year too. If this man hurt this year, you watch. He gonna get the Russell Westbrook treatment from the Laker fans. And I'm gonna tell you something. Deep down inside, AD is soft as baby doo-doo. And I'm telling y'all something. He can't deal with that criticism Russ took this past year. AD mentally can't deal with that.
I'm not buying that.
And break.
And the reason why I'm not buying that is because of the same reason what you just told me about Isaiah Thomas. I mean, last I checked, Anthony Davis is from Chicago also. So he's a native Chicagoan.
Hey, Ticket. I'm not agreeing with what he's saying right now. I'm not.
If I'm not mistaken, he's a native Chicagoan, and this is the logic that you're trying to sell us.
No, but I'm not on. No.
This is the logic that this is the logic. I ain't saying that he's Isaiah Thomas, but the logic is that he's a native Chicagoan, and Chicagoans are not soft. We all know that. So I'm not buying the logic. I'm not buying the logic.
He a rare breed.
Without LeBron James, AD plays this. That year they won the chip, without LeBron James, with the injuries he had going through that season, he plays 40 games that year. The year he plays 66 and won a chip, he plays 40 games, no more. The next year,
the reason why he played 66 isn't because he wasn't hurt. It was just because it was a COVID. That's the
reason
why.
I'm saying the reason why I'm saying right. Well, listen,
62.
If he was with New Orleans, let's say he wasn't with LeBron. Here's my point to you. I'm telling you, he wouldn't have qualified for any of that stuff because the fool would have not been playing the games
But the motivation is different too, though. Ticket. Don't get me. The motivation is different. We're not gonna fight that part. The motivation is different. I'm playing in New Orleans, and we are the 9th or the 10th seed, and I'm playing in Los Angeles with the number 1 seed.
Hold on. So your point, Ticket, is if Anthony, I want to be clear on the point. Your point, and I agree with you. Day-to-day Davis is soft, 100%. If he stays in New Orleans, and never goes to the Lakers and plays whatever 10, 15 years, you're saying he's still, based on what he was doing in New Orleans, you're saying he's not a top 100 player at the end of his career?
Count his games. How was he? Tell me, watch this. Because why do y'all rank Grant Hill so low? Not because of Grant Hill's skill level, but because injuries took him out.
Yeah.
You're looking at Grant Hill.
Playing 60, 70 games.
That was 1,000 times softer than Grant Hill. Listen, this dude had no self-motivation to be any type of leader. He was none of that, bro. So listen, he had no go hard in him. LeBron brought every ounce of go hard that he had in him. LeBron squeezed every bit out of this class.
So we're just gonna forget about what happened in 2018 when they swept the Portland Trailblazers out the playoffs. We're gonna just forget that. And he averaged 32 and 13.
And he go hard. That's impressive. If he was 28 and 11 with no go hard, that's impressive.
But he also would have. I'll finish on this. He would have went somewhere.
Yeah, this is the last point, and we can't talk about AD no
more.
I had to mute you, bro. We done with AD.
Sure. I know. I'm gonna just say it quickly. He would have went somewhere else because he wanted to go somewhere else by the time. So he wouldn't have stayed in what you call. He would have went somewhere where he was motivated to win. But more importantly, like again, in the 4 years between 2015 and 2018, the man was averaging 26 and 11. Like that's what he was putting up.
How many games?
68, 61, 75, 75, and 75.
And in the last 3 years he played in New Orleans, how many games he played? He plays what?
75.
These are games I'm saying.
Now watch this. After that, the last 3 years, how many games he played with LeBron?
Nobody not arguing that.
Oh, you're arguing that.
No.
Nobody not arguing that.
Day-to-day for a reason.
We're not.
How many games?
How many games
did he play with LeBron James the last 3 years?
He played 40, 36, and then in 2020, he played all of the games that were available for him to play except for like 5 or 6 of them.
And they won the NBA championship. And they won the NBA championship.
How many games did he play?
Again, I just
last 3 years
year,
played
40,
62, 36, and 40.
But 62 is disingenuous.
Yeah.
62 is disingenuous.
Yes, there was only 70 games that season, and then the 36 was 72 games.
I'm saying to you that if you take LeBron James off of his teams and leave him in New Orleans, is he got to be the dude?
But he's not staying, though. He's not staying. He wanted out.
Time out. Put him anywhere on God Green Earth away from LeBron. Put him with the Knicks.
7 years.
Time out. The Knicks.
He played with Steph Curry and Draymond. He missed the games. No, he not.
They was missing games.
He not gonna miss games playing next to Stephen Curry and Draymond.
They was missing games.
He's not going.
He's probably playing the same.
Because if we're going to use that logic, we got to say the same thing.
We got to say exactly. Yeah.
We got to say the same thing about him. We have to say the same thing about these guys. We got to say the same thing about Kyrie Irving. I mean, Kyrie Irving, he played the most games in his career with James.
I can't with Kyrie. You're losing with Kyrie. I can't argue. I can't argue.
All right.
The argument is here's the argument, and Ron, let me let it go. I'm gonna let it go right here. Everybody, so y'all get what I'm saying clear. My argument is the only reason why AD played as many games as he did the last 3 years is because he played with LeBron. If he wasn't playing with LeBron and he had them same injuries, the man would have played less games.
So you're saying LeBron pushed him to play more?
Yes.
Okay.
LeBron pushed him to play 36 games.
Therefore, that
he would have played 10 if it wasn't for LeBron.
All them awards that Lowe's talking about, that would have eliminated him because he wouldn't have been playing enough games.
I don't think. We'll see.
All right, y'all. That's that with that. Let's get on to our next super chat. My man, the African Sci-Fi Scholar. He said, "Cook ticket, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. LD BC Gladiator time." And y'all heard it here first.
All right, salute.
Next super chat that we got is from my man Liam McLean. He said, "Ticket, what about Magic? He didn't lead like Kobe."
That's a damn hold on.
The 5
that
chips.
That dude right there, I should put some baby powder in my hand and slap you. Because you telling them lies you telling, that's a whole lie right there. And you need to go ask Kareem. You need to go ask James Worthy. You need to go ask Byron Scott got a podcast. You need to go ask him. You go ask all them dudes what type of dude Magic Johnson was. Do not let the smile and cookie fool you.
Magic was not like, oh no, he was not like Jordan. Well, first and foremost, okay. Let's get to the bottom. Let's get to the bottom of one thing and one thing only. When Magic got on the crew, he was 20 years old. That was Jabbar's team, so he wasn't on the crew barking at Jabbar. He was not on the crew barking at Ball. No, he was not doing that. No, he was not.
At 20, he was getting Jabbar newspapers and orange juice.
That's what he was doing. That's exactly what he was doing.
That's from his mouth. That's from his mouth.
He was on their helmet. Stop lying, man.
He was not. He was not barking at Norm Nixon.
He was doing
he'd be crazy.
Hey, Ticket. There's no way for me to believe. There's no evidence to suggest, as good as Magic was and the personality that he was, don't get me wrong. Magic knew when to lead and how to lead, and he knew when to be aggressive and when to step back. But there's no way that you telling me that Magic is in the locker room with Norm Nixon, Bob McAdoo, and Jabbar flipping over tables. That's not happening.
Ron, put this on the docket for next week. I'm going to message Alexa, his assistant, who happens to be in communication with me, and I'm going to ask him if that's how he led. We'll get him.
Will you come back?
I'll come back next week.
On my name, Fluent. Tell him, put some respect on my name.
Magic flipping over tables. Nah.
All right, so the next super chat, once again for my man, the African sci-fi scholar. He said, I noticed that LeBron plants be boosting Jrue to fit into the convoluted propaganda to defend their king.
Convoluted. It's the convoluted propaganda. So essentially what he's saying is that LeBron James fans, what we do is we change the narrative to defend him, which in reality is not true. That's not true at all, Mr. African sci-fi scholar.
What do you have to do with that, though?
Why are we boosting
African sci-fi, whatever your name is? That's not true. Now, what I do as a LeBron James fan is I look at things from both sides. So whenever Ticket comes at me or Tone comes at me, I bring the other half of the story. I don't just come with what they're saying and just go off of that. No, I come with the other half of the story. So, for example, when Tone says to me about how good Jordan was defensively, and Tone might bring up the fact that Jordan made the All-League defensive team 9 times, I'll talk about how James and his ability to make the All-League defensive team and what happened and why he didn't make the All-League defensive team and all the nods that he didn't get. And I'll bring facts to that. Like, for example, the fact that in the 16-17 season, like I mentioned this before, was the first time in the history of his career that he finished in the top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year and did not make the All-League defensive team. Those things matter when you're talking about bringing up accolades. So it's not something where we're just running our mouths or saying something to fit the narrative. I try to come with facts. I don't just run my mouth.
And you heard it here from Chill, would you consider yourself a LeBron plant, or is he not with that?
A LeBron plant is crazy.
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild.
That's super wild right there to say something like that. That's nuts.
All right, super chat from my man Traveling Trav. He said, "Who's the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals MVP? Middleton or Giannis?"
This is such a disrespectful question, but whatever. It's Giannis. I know Middleton and then close out the series without Giannis.
Bro. That's hella fire cap. Is Giannis it's
Giannis.
Anybody that gotta think about that is cap a lot records.
Right. Mm-hmm. He did. Don't get me wrong. Basically, what Middleton did and basically what Jrue Holiday did is what Magic did in 1980. Giannis took them there. Giannis got them there. It's not a situation where they was doing that the entire playoffs. No, they weren't. No, Giannis was the guy who got them there. We didn't even know if Giannis was going to play for the rest of the series. I thought he was done when I saw that knee injury. I did. But for him to come back, it was definitely Giannis.
It is Giannis. It's Giannis.
Bet. It's a consensus up here that Giannis was the MVP. All right, get your bars up, media. He said, if Kobe not in your all-time top 5, then you don't need to be talking basketball.
Facts.
Salute to the panel.
Was waiting.
Is there anybody up here? I'm just curious. Is there anybody up here that don't need to be talking basketball?
I don't.
All right, Bill. It was a pleasure, bro. It was a pleasure, bro.
I clearly don't need to be talking basketball because not only do I not have Kobe in my top 5, I don't have him in my top 10. I got him at 11.
Man, man.
So-
Oh yeah, that is right. You did say that.
So-
Oh,
Yeah, he
man.
did.
I don't have him. I don't have him in my top 10. I don't have him in my top 5. I don't even have him in my
The only
top.
problem,
Don't
look,
do that,
look,
Ron.
he's
Go ahead and
wrong.
get to
But the only
that
Yeah,
problem,
Ron. Yeah, please don't. We
he's
can't.
wrong.
We can't
No,
get.
but
We
he's
can't
wrong.
do it.
But he makes a good argument. Why he has him there, I still disagree.
I can't. We can't go down that path.
I
I don't
believe
have him in top 5, but I have him 6. But you know, we splitting hairs at that point.
All right, you're close. You're close
Yeah,
enough.
but 11 is, man.
All right, y'all. One day we will get into that, chill. Not
No.
today. Travis Lindsay with the super chat. He said, literally on a college Zoom call, orientation call, and still watching. What's good, chill and Fluent? And I can't forget my guy, Ron.
Travio, what up, fella? How you running, brother? You good?
That's one of our regulars on Fluent and Chill. What's up,
Yes,
baby?
sir. Travio, what up?
Shout out Travis Lindsay and shout out everybody else who is a regular member who always tunes in. Shout out our elite members. Shout out our tier 2 regulars and tier 3 members. Appreciate all you guys. Go ahead and get the likes up. We got almost 1,200 people in here. Y'all go ahead and like the video. Show us some love.
Yes,
Another
sir.
super chat from Matt Cat Jun. He said, NBA more skill today, or is it the rule changes in officiating? ABA versus NBA is a great example of this back in the day, addressing older era versus today. How
It's
y'all
the
feel
same.
about
It's the same. It's both. It's both. Excuse me.
Yeah, there's more than one thing can be true.
Yeah, it's both.
So it's all of those things. So skill. So when are players more skilled today in certain things? Yes. In other things, no. Did the rule changes help in certain areas? Yes. In other areas, no. Like everything is actually true. I know that doesn't give you a direct answer, but there isn't a direct answer because, like Lo said, they're all true.
When I think about guys who are ball handlers, I think about guys like Isaiah Thomas. I think about Damian Lillard and Steph Curry, and I think about how the rules change a little bit different. And it's basically the same thing. And just because those guys weren't doing it as much back then doesn't mean that they couldn't do the same thing today.
Facts.
All right. My guy Jack Hat tapping in once again. He said, who y'all got winning the finals and getting to the conference finals and why?
I still stand on.
Let's just hear who you guys got winning the finals.
Damn, winning the whole thing. Damn.
It's early, but
Way too early predictions.
Yeah, way too early. I'm gonna go with like what tickets. I'm gonna go Bucks.
I think it's Milwaukee wins the NBA championship. I do.
me too.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the Warriors coming out the West. I know you didn't ask that question, but I'm gonna just
Yeah.
let you know.
Hey, I guess everybody up here got the Bucks because I'm right there with y'all.
Ticket. You got the Bucks, right?
Yeah, he
I
said
think
Bucks.
you-
He said
I
Bucks.
got the Bucks and I got y'all capping too. Put me in a tight Zoom, Ron. Put me
Uh-oh.
in a tight Zoom, Ron. Put me in a tight Zoom, Ron.
Got a picture of Larry Bird punching
You
someone in the
copy
face.
our records, and all y'all can look this article up. Magic Johnson was going off on dudes on the court. It was so bad on his own teammates that they had to ask him to tone it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it was during the games.
Right.
Cut it out.
But you can get on guys though, Ticket. I ain't saying that. Nobody's saying that you can't get on guys.
Go read
As
the
a
articles in
as a
Orlando Sentinel,
that's
June
not the
6,
issue.
1991.
Ticket. That's and remember. By the way, Jabbar was gone at that
Yeah,
point.
91. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
yeah.
That article
Jabbar
came out
was-
that one. No. But they had stories from
Mhm.
all throughout his tenure.
Right.
All you gotta do is go right there. It's on Google. Look it up. And
Right.
it's right there. And you read all them stories that it was about Erving Magic Johnson in that locker room behind the scene. And like I said, you go ask your boy Fluent. And when you come
Huh?
back, you tell him I said, put some respect on my name. All 3 of you.
We'll do if that happens.
All right. The Boss 5 with a super chat. He said, when are we going to get the panel's all-time draft? The Boss, you know what? Since you asked for it, next week, fellas, we're going to go ahead and do a draft of our all-time players. We're going to go ahead and do that. I got you. We're not going to hold y'all up any longer. Julian Burwell. He said he can't be the best playmaker with the most turnovers of all time.
Oh, give me a break with this nonsense. Give me such a break with this nonsense. So let's get to the bottom of this.
But that doesn't make any sense, though. That don't make
It
no
doesn't. The reason why it doesn't make any sense is because it's only one-sided. It's only one-sided, Lo. So, for example, I hear all the time, James got the most turnovers. I saw this post. James got the most turnovers in the regular season. These are how many years in the regular season James led the league in turnovers. These are how many. James led the playoffs in turnovers 5 times. Just so you know, 4 of those 5 times, he also led the playoffs in assists the same year at a 2-to-1 ratio. in the 1 year that he led the playoffs in turnovers, which was the 14-15 season, who did he have on the crew? He had Kyrie Irving. He had Kevin Love. These are the dudes. These are how many times they have been not to the NBA Finals, not to the Eastern Conference Championship. These are how many times they have been to the playoffs. They had the #1 pick in the draft the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. And these are the dudes that he's taken to the finals with no experience. Add that to the fact that he leads the finals in turnovers. He also is second all time in the finals in assists at a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. So that logic about he can't lead them, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about you only talk about this from one side. This is nonsense.
But that post, I saw that post. And that post said most turnovers in the regular season, most turnovers in the playoffs, and most turnovers in the finals. That's why you don't just talk about all-time stats, is what that full post said, because the person who had previously posted said most points all-time in the playoffs, most points, or whatever the heck he said. So he was just saying that person was only talking about one side. So here's the other side of that coin.
No, that's fair. I don't really all-time stats is just more or less just longevity.
Unless
you have like a massive gap, but more or less is longevity. But LeBron, like, there's not that many players in general who can average like 27 plus points consistently while averaging less than 3.5 assists, let alone giving you 7-8 assists with that as well. So like somebody who's handling the ball that often, facilitating it as much as he does, only averaging 3.5 turnovers, excuse me. Like I don't think, like, when y'all say that, I don't think y'all thoroughly, like, just go check and go look. Most players who dominate the ball to that magnitude will have 3.5 turnovers.
Yeah, Magic had 3+ turnovers a game. Is
right.
Stockton's fourth all time in turnovers. He all time
Magic had like Macho Man Randy Savage. The reason why these people say that, RIP to the legend. The reason why these people say this type of stuff is because all of you guys running around here in basketball world, when y'all want to criticize Kobe and you talk about how many missed shots he's had and all this other stuff, who's got the most missed shots in NBA history? Okay, well, that's the reason why people bring up those type of stats when they talk about LeBron James. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm telling y'all, when you use this against other people to discredit them, people will use this against your king to discredit him. Right. So the same way people use, well, Russell Westbrook, man, he led the team in turnovers last year with the Lakers. Well, guess what? Russ led the team with 3.8. LeBron James right behind him with 3.5. But nobody talks about that.
No. Westbrook turns the ball over historically. He's not that good.
And so does LeBron James.
No. No. It's not the same. It's ticket. It's not the same.
Hey, ticket. Stop. They about to make me get up out this seat.
Westbrook literally. What I'm telling you is just a fact. Westbrook turns the ball over at a historic rate.
While LeBron James, hold on, let me ask you a question.
He's the fastest player to, I want to say, like 3,000 turnovers. But if he turns over the historic rate, why he averaged 3.8 and LeBron averaged 3.5 last year?
Now you also talking about
that, but that's wait, I'll answer.
I'm sorry.
Ticket. You're talking about 3.8 for Westbrook. If he was turning the ball 3.8 times, then we wouldn't have a problem, because that wouldn't be turning the ball at a historic rate. The reason why we're saying that is because the year before he turned the ball over 4.8, the year before 4.5, 4.5, 4.8, 5.4, 4.3, 4.4. So if he was LeBron, he never turned the ball over 5 times a game.
No. Call out LeBron's. You just call out Russ. Call out LeBron's. The last
3.5, 3.7. 3.9, 3.6. LeBron has never gotten to 5 turnovers a game.
Not only that, low. James is put not only that.
James Harden also turns the ball over at his.
And not only that, low. Don't leave out the fact that James is playing way more games than Russell Westbrook was playing over that span of time. That's not even close to the same thing. No.
Russell Westbrook is the fastest player to 4,000 turnovers. And talking about in the fewest amount of games played, he's the fastest player.
Over the last 4 years, Russ is playing. Hold on, LeBron is playing way more games than Russ.
I'm talking about his career. The fastest. Oh, I don't know what you're. But I'm just saying he's the fastest player to 4,000 turnovers. He turns the ball over at a historic rate.
And just for the record, LeBron's going to play at least 2 more seasons. He's also going to lead all time in field goals missed, so you can leave Kobe alone.
Mm-hmm.
Which is such a bad argument.
He's only 1,200. I know that's why I say
just a bad argument.
That's why I hate when people bring it up, because
it's a bad argument.
All right, so on to the next
Another
super chat.
Yeah.
The African sci-fi scholar said to the brother on the panel who got defensive about my general observation.
It's not a general observation. No, it's not.
If the shoe don't fit, don't wear it, brother.
Wrong. First of all, you didn't give a general observation.
You know, that's
you got very specific. That's what you did. You didn't give a general observation. A general observation is to talk about everybody. You got very specific, my man. So let's dead that logic now.
Hey, Chill, let me ask you a question. You feel that same way about Kobe's missed shots all time?
I don't.
That you feel about LeBron's turnovers?
I don't. The fact that a scorer is going to shoot the basketball.
Right.
That's
so
what scorers do.
You feel the same.
Right.
A scorer is going to shoot the basketball. So I never bring up Kobe Bryant missing that many shots. Never. Right. You've never heard in any argument that I've ever had with Kobe Bryant about where he is, you've never heard me talk about his ability to miss that many shots.
So why do you have him so far down your list?
Why do I have Kobe Bryant so far down my list? Yeah. Because the other guys that I have on my list, well, number one, it has nothing to do with Kobe Bryant missing shots. Over the 75-year history of the NBA, the best players to ever play are big guys. That's why 6 big guys are in my top 10. That's number one. Number two, all the other guys that I have in my top 10, I defend every last one of them against Kobe Bryant being 11. Every last one of them.
Because this is like a whole pod by itself.
I just want to.
He was just asking something. He was just asking something.
He was just asking. I get him a different show. Don't worry about it. We got a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna read this last super chat, and then we gonna get to the next topic. Appreciate y'all flooding us with super chats. I'm gonna try to get to all of you guys before the show ends. This next one is from my man Seth Malone. He said, "Everyone up here is a GOAT. Even Ticket. Been watching PC for over a year now.
Even
Ticket.
Even Ticket. 100 grand strong.
I think
exact.
No, Ticket. I think he spelt especially Ticket. He spelt especially wrong. He just
got you. All right, let me reread it. Maybe I'm tripping. Oh, no. Everyone up here is a GOAT, especially Ticket. Been watching PC for over a year now. Haven't missed an episode of the panel. Huge fan. Shout out Seth Malone. All right, y'all. Here's what we gonna do.
No, you gotta put that picture back up. That's a great picture.
Yeah, it was.
That
was for real.
We're gonna get on to the next topic of the day. And I know you guys have been hearing a lot in the media about some things that are going on up in Boston. It was a huge scandal with their head coach, Ime Udoka. Apparently, he cheated on his celebrity wife. Nia Long with the team's travel agents. It was a lot of things that they were saying. They were saying that and multiple sources confirmed that the female staffer that he had an affair with was uncovered by her husband, who happens to be on a high role in the Celtics staff. It was
VP of
uncovered
Finance.
VP of Finance. It was
the guy who gets
uncovered by her husband.
checks.
Money, I believe that's the money man.
Money guy. But anyway,
and he heard about their affair. He uncovered everything through a private conversation on the home doorbell camera, which probably was a Ring. So you guys better watch out for your rings. All right, y'all better be sneaky. Or if you want to be sneaky, you better be smart about it. How do we feel about this? Just the whole situation in general. Kind of like to keep things basketball, but at the same time, we got a lot of young followers who may need to hear some advice from some of you older guys about certain situations like this.
I'll start it, no problem. My grandmother told me when I was a kid, number one, don't ever get involved with a married woman because legally her husband can kill you. That's number one. Number two, if you're going to do something wrong, do it right. So if you're going to get involved with a woman like that in the office, it can't be like her. Now, remember that we're talking about a woman who isn't just, this isn't Pam that works in media relations that's married to, I don't know, Joe that works on the other side of town. No, she's married to the vice president of finance. She's married to the money man. And I got to see this dude every day that I walk into work. So of course, he's going to blow up my spot. Now, I don't personally think that, I'm hearing reports that it got out from him. I still don't think that this was any of our business unless that they were going to fire him. I always felt like that. It ended up getting out, and some other people on television had said that, but I felt like that from the beginning. Unless Coach Udoka was getting fired, this was none of my business, and I did not need to hear about this. This is something that could have stayed in-house. This is something that they could have handled internally, and they could have handled it quietly, as opposed to letting this thing get out the way it did. But the reason why they didn't fire him is because, number one, they're not really sure who they're going to have to replace him. And it didn't help that team was really good, because if they would have got bounced in round one, Coach Udoka would have been gone. No question about it. But the fact that they went to the NBA Finals, they weren't really sure of how they could handle this. Now, how do they handle this moving forward? Why is he still on the staff? Knowing what we know now, I still haven't gotten a satisfactory answer about that. But I will tell you one thing. If you're going to do something wrong, do it right.
Now, listen, it should have been private. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. No, it's one. It should have been private.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it should have been private. We never should have heard about it. 1, 2, he absolutely should have been fired. Period. End of discussion. You're fired. You can't do that and not be fired. Period. That's business. That is business. In any other business, if that situation happens, you're fired. But let's be clear. The media picked it up because they're trying to cover up another story from another sport. That damn thief, Brett Favre, stealing $5 million to build his daughter a volleyball arena.
Tone, do you honestly think that them people down in Mississippi aren't going to hang Brett Favre? You serious?
Good. They
Nobody ain't hearing about that. There's not enough people talking about that.
Don't think for 1 second that this is going away. That is not going away, guys. Y'all crazy if y'all think that's going away. It's not. No way.
Good. And it shouldn't. Hang
no
him
way.
And get him out of the Hall of Fame. That being said, Udoka is a very stupid man. And this is the advice for the kids. And here's why he's a very stupid man.
Ticket, don't make your face like that. He's a goofy. Yes, he is.
No.
He is a goofy. Yes,
your relationship with Nia Long, you are coaching a team in the most racist city in America, and you have a great job, and you're going to risk all that for one woman? I guarantee you. I don't know who that woman was. Shane Worthing. You're going to risk your relationship with Nia Long and your job as head coach of the Boston Celtics for one woman. You're crazy.
I highly doubt it was one woman.
That's where I'm. That's where I'm at with it.
We are talking about.
I don't know if there's more.
The Boston.
I'm sure it was more than one. I'm on the fence about that.
Go ahead, Lo. I'm gonna see if you make the same mistake those two made. Go ahead, Lo.
I'm so confused. Who is this woman again? Does she work for the Celtics?
She's the wife of the vice president of finance.
But does she work for?
And she works for the Celtics too.
She's the traveling.
Okay, that is
set up travel for Nia Long to fly out to Boston.
But that's my problem. So if it was consensual, why do we only know one person's name right now? Why is that?
That's why your name is Legend of Winning.
That don't make no sense to this day, because the only reason why I thought that she was is because Sham had wrote something in the Athletic, or maybe somebody in the Athletic wrote that there was potentially non-consensual interactions. If that's the case,
that I did hear as well, if I may, and it was that she said no and he pushed it, and that there's charges forth pending, and that's when he's going to get fired. This is all rumor, though. It's all rumor. Until the charges get that's
pushed.
Why the name hasn't come out, because apparently there's charges.
Yeah, if that is the case, then understandable. But if we're talking about consensual, understandable, like maybe there's some code of ethics in their contracts to where you're not supposed to be able to date somebody in the However, that don't make no sense, because if y'all just sat there and said that she's married to somebody who also works for the Boston Celtics, so that don't make no sense to me. They seem like they don't really care about that.
Both should have been fired.
So they should have been fired. So that, but again, you can't be that. You're inconsistent if you're saying that. Our rules are in the Boston Celtics organization that you cannot date somebody who works for the organization. The woman that he allegedly had an affair with is married to somebody who's already in the organization. So why was it that big of a deal? Y'all have approved this already routinely. So unless something was non-consensual, then at that point, understandable why her name hasn't been released yet. But if it's been consensual, and that's what the story that a lot of people are running with right now, why don't we know her name and why she hasn't been fired yet? They sat there.
Bring it up. My understanding is there's charges pending. That's
okay, if that's the case, but Woj and them, I think Woj and them did a horrible job on this, because if it's that serious, then you should not half-ass put out a story. You should not put and then allow them to run around with somebody else's name. That's crazy.
Listen, let me tell y'all something. That part is a lie that Fluent said. I'm not saying Fluent's lying.
I'm not. It's a rumor. It's a rumor. Yeah.
That's cap.
The consent,
The
charges ticket. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's cap.
Okay,
I'm gonna tell you something. The man is 45 years old. Ime, he got a good build on him.
Yep.
He goes to the team his first year, takes him to the NBA Finals. Now, all through this run, all the ladies gonna want him. Listen, I played professional basketball 16 years. I know how this goes with the secretaries. All this stuff is normal. The only reason why Fluent's talking about charges is because she got caught on her intercom system. So he wasn't sloppy. She was, because she got caught by her husband on her doorbell intercom system. And he's not married. He's engaged to Nia Long. And they've been engaged for 7 years but never got married, right? And they've already had problems in their relationship in the past. That's their issue. Mm-hmm. But the focus should be on this woman who's being protected because her husband works for the organization. So she's above the rules. She was married. She was doing the dirt with him. It takes two to tango. And this how grimy she was. Up until last week, she helped Nia Long find a house in Boston. So if there were some charges against Ime Udoka for unwanted gestures, let me tell you something. That's a black man in Boston. He'd have been in jail when it happened. He'd have been waiting. He'd have been in jail when it happened. They'd have took the Boston Police Department.
That's a good point.
Down there to the TD Garden Arena, put him in handcuffs, and walked him out of the arena. That's not what happened.
That's a good point.
These fake charges come up when she got caught. So what she has to do is try to placate, save her relationship with her husband, who's the breadwinner, who have her working in the organization, right? And let me say something else, man. The NBA got to get on point with the attire that they're allowing these women to wear in these organizations. I'm looking at women that's working on staff, and this is something else I think we got to get into. And I'll be honest with y'all. I know y'all don't like touches, but I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. Me personally, I have nothing against women at all. I love women. I think women are respectable, but it's a touchy issue when we talking about allowing women to come coach men in sports. Because I'm going to tell y'all why. Y'all ever notice something? After the games, and watch this now, the players, LeBron, all the players would be in the locker room sweating with no shirts on, all this other stuff. Female reporters come in. Nobody sees that as a violation of the players, right? But if there was a man, whoever did it to women, now you have a problem. So to me, the NBA and all the team should change the dress code. And Nick Young, he just did an interview talking about this. Nick Young came out. You know what he just said? He did an interview on Vlad TV. Nick Young said they had an issue. Him and a teammate had an issue with a cheerleader. He said they had an issue, and guess what? He said they came back, and he said all the ladies in the organization was mad at them from the cheerleading team because they fired the cheerleader because she messed with the player. And fired the player, fired the cheerleader, right? Because she messed with the player. But that was illegal on both sides, right? So here's the thing. The woman, they're protecting her because she's attached to this dude in the organization. And let me say this too. She did this with Ime. How many more people did? Just when a thief gets caught, that don't mean he was stealing for the first time. She was cheating on her husband the whole time. She got caught. That didn't mean that was the first time or the first person. Anybody who playing the NBA can tell you this stuff is normal business. It should never been reported. But
that I agree with. It never should have been reported. That I agree.
Why it was reported is because it wasn't what y'all thought it was. It wasn't about that it was her or the doorbell or she got caught. It was somebody else who was threatening to put out this information. Trust me, when the Sarver stuff came down, somebody else had a whiff that was going on. See what I'm saying? Because remember, they didn't say anything to Nia Long all the way up to 1 week until this popped off. So that means they were going to try to cover it up. He didn't even tell her. They were going to try to cover it up.
Did you notice? We're not talking about Sarver anymore either. Conveniently.
Listen to this. When Sarver was forced out, Stephen A. Smith went on national TV and said he knows a lot of stuff that goes on in the Boston Celtics organization. Nobody better not be talking about this situation with Ime Udoka, with the hypocrisy that's going on in that organization and others. And also, Robert Sarver, they said he wasn't going to go down without a fight at first. he knew stuff about other people that was going on. So notice how this came out, and now we don't talk about Sarver no more. We're not talking about Brett Favre no more. Now everybody's talking about Ime Udoka, who was in a consensual, right? So here's the thing: if that's the case, right? Why didn't she come out before and press charges? You know why? That is a lie to try to cover up and help her character.
Maybe.
And so what they're doing is smearing this man, and it's sickening. But guess what? Ime Udoka is going to win at the end of the day. I don't like it. He's a scumbag. He shouldn't have did what he did. But guess what? Nia Long already said she's going to stay with him. He won. He's still going to get half his salary. He ain't going to have to do nothing. He won. When a new coach don't go to the NBA Finals, guess what? Fluent. Guess what? Chilltown. Guess what? Low. Guess what? Ron. Boston Celtics fans ain't going to care. You know what they don't care about? Wins and losses. They don't care about no personal relationship. So if the new coach don't do what he just did, if he gets bounced in the first second round, guess what they're going to do?
That's why they didn't fire him. That's exactly why they didn't fire him.
The worst mistake for them to be is, watch this, chill. And I heard this today from a little bug. You let Ime Udoka walk out the organization, and guess what? Steve Nash don't get it done with Brooklyn. He the next head coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
I do think he's going to get another job.
Oh, he's starting in a heartbeat.
And guess what? And guess what? Here's the tastier part. He get paid triple or quadruple what he was getting paid in Boston.
Yeah, I agree. The whole thing doesn't make any sense because like Ticket is saying, like if you just use common sense, like even the stories being told, because even if they want us to believe it was non-consensual, y'all decided to do what? Y'all did that investigation and then y'all decided to like hold on. Why'd y'all sit on it? If you really and truly found it was non-consensual, what was the holdup at that point? Like if you really believe that, then why not go about it? Because that don't make no sense.
But it was a lie, bro. Listen.
Even consensual is cause for dismissal for both.
Even if it was consensual, why don't we know her name then? Why are y'all making this big spectacle of it?
Because listen,
this
is why they don't want you to know her name.
That don't make no sense.
Because guess what's going to happen? The internet is undefeated, and guess what's going to happen if you know her name? Guess what? TMZ,
everybody's going to smear her.
They're going to dig up everything on her past. And you know what? You know what they're going to do? They're going to do a hit piece like Malika Andrews did on a new coach for the Boston Celtics. And that was disgusting, bringing up the charges from a man that he had 13 years ago when he was a kid in college. They got dismissed.
She wrapped that up by saying he was.
We know. I am confused, though, but we know her name. Because if we know who the VP of Finance is,
they don't want to officially say it though. They don't want to.
No, I understand. We know that. What's his name? Patrick Lynch, I think is. His name.
Yeah, but they don't want to officially say it, Fluent, because if you do, now guess what? Now,
I understand. I understand what I'm saying. We know her name because if we know his name and the marriage certificate is a public record, we can find her name. It's not that hard.
Listen, they're not going to say it officially because the media, if they officially say it, now guess what? The media can officially, under news, start reporting on different things about her past. See, they're open to lawsuit if they start making allegations about her past, and she has nothing to do with this. See what I'm saying?
Well,
so that's why.
Here's the thing that needs to also be understood. I don't think losing Coach Udoka is the biggest deal. And the reason why I don't feel like that is because the head coach that they have now that they're bringing in, he was the only guy that was new. The rest of those guys are Udoka's guys, which means that the philosophy is basically the same. So with the philosophy basically being the same, they should be able to do what they did. Well, here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. The problem that I'm having with that crew is losing Robert Williams. He's gonna be out of that lineup till almost the All-Star break. They're talking about him not being able to do any activity for 8 to 12 weeks. So we're talking about almost 3 months before he could even run. That's not including getting back in shape. That's not including doing any basketball activity. I think that's going to be an even bigger blow than losing Coach Udoka than it is losing him.
I disagree. They're going home in the first round. Coaching has a lot to do with it.
It does. That part I don't fight.
His game planning and his scheming throughout series was excellent. And I'm going to tell you something. They're going to miss that. I thought he did a heck of a job coaching. I think he's a heck of a young coach. And guess what? He's a high commodity. At the end of the day, this game is about wins and losses. As long as he ain't got no case on him, he will get another job just like that.
Did you feel about that? Did you feel that way about him in January or in February when they were barely in the playoff race?
But what I'm saying
they were figuring it out at that point.
What he did though. He's a rookie coach. So sometimes it takes time to get those guys to really build into your philosophy. Right. But when they did, you seen his imprint on the team. Because guess what? You had Brad Stevens with the same team, and they could only go but so far. But you could clearly see that he took that team to a different level. And I don't think this new coach, I don't think he can get them to that same level. I don't think so. They're going home in the first round. The Celtic fans are going to be screaming for Ime all season long, and the Celtics are going to have to make a tough decision to bring Ime back. If they let him go and Steve Nash don't get to the finals, he'll be the next coach of the Brooklyn.
Well, how can and since you brought that up, Ticket, about them bringing him back, how could he actually come back to the office? Considering what's going on there. Bro, now wait a minute. We're talking about the money.
Chilltown. This is normal activity. Any player, anybody will tell you this. Bro, you're not going to dangle steak in front of pit bulls and think they're not going to eat.
Right, I get that part. That part I understand.
Hold on. You got these women, and she had to be sneaky and devious to do what she did, and she had to be brave. For her to be married to who she's married to, allegedly, and to do that, she had to be sneaky, she had to be brave, and she had to be a veteran at that. Only a vet pulls that stuff off. She just made a rookie mistake and forgot that the door intercom was listening and got caught. And when you get caught, what do you start doing when you're in a position like her? She ain't trying to lose that bag because she got caught. She ain't trying to get thrown out of that family. She ain't trying to lose her job. So now what she'll do is go put accusations on him. But we all know he's a young stud down there. And when you the young stud, you a head coach, the ladies love it. The ladies love you.
Two things. Number one, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to victimize her. Because I don't know the whole story. I'm not. This is what I'm saying. I'm not going to victimize her. But what I'm not going to do is I'm also not going to absolve her neither. She's not completely absolved of this whole thing. She's very much involved in this, like he is. So I don't want to look at her and go, well, she really ain't have nothing to do with it because I don't even know the whole story. Who initiated this thing? Did he initiate it? Did she initiate it? We don't even know who initiated this whole thing. Even with that being said, it does. That's my point right there.
So hold on. What you think she did? You think she was like, as long as you keep winning, I won't say anything, Ime.
Well, I don't know if it could have.
Soon as the season over with, and she get ready to get ratted out by somebody else to the public. Now, he violated me. He make get out of here, man. The bottom line is, she is at more blame than him. She was married. She is connected to a high-ranking official in the organization, so she should have known that you don't play that game, especially with the head coach. That's two. And three, the most damning, and this is why she should have been fired immediately, is because she violated the wife of the head coach.
Well, you just said you just said he wasn't married. But even with that being said, on the flip side to that too, Coach Udoka is the same dude on the hook, because let's make sure we clear. This is a high-ranking official in the organization whose wife I'm involved with. That is not okay. I'm not saying that sort of kind. That is not okay. So with that being said, I'm not going to victimize her. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to absolve her.
Nobody victimizing her, man.
I'm not going to absolve her neither. I'm not going to do that. She's just as much on the hook. She's just as much on the hook as he is.
She's not a victim if you don't.
No, she's not. But
hold on. Let me say to y'all. If she got a case, if she comes out with charges against him, then she is not a victim. She is only a victim if she got charges against him and proof of what he did. If it ain't no charges, if this is consensual, she ain't no victim. She is guilty as charged, just like him.
Yo, low and fluent. Final words on this topic before we keep it pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Never should have got out to the public. It's a damn shame. And let's get back to basketball.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it shouldn't have got out to the public until they had all the information out there. I don't understand.
It's happening all the time.
I don't know why they rushed this out if they didn't have all the information, because now everybody's speculating about things that happen.
Yeah, they made it more mushy.
Yeah,
Robert Sarver. Yeah, that's why.
That too. I think they are trying to.
The NBA is putting out two owners in less than a decade. That has never been heard of in any league. What league have you heard of that forced out two owners?
There's more coming.
Hey, why do y'all think Adam Silver felt uncomfortable? Adam Silver came into the league having to put out Sterling. Now you got to turn around and put out this guy too. Now what happens if somebody else comes along? Now you've already got the president has already been set that those two's got to go. So if anything comes out on another owner, by the time he finishes his term, 6-7 owners gonna be out the league.
Well, Salva wasn't put out the league. He was suspended. It was the CEO who basically said, "Yo,
I thought he's
the CEO of the Sun, the CEO of the Sun said, "Yo, you need to sell the crew."
But
It wasn't.
You know
It wasn't.
You heard what they said, right? They said if he was going to refuse, they said that Michael Jordan was prepared to step out and make a public statement that he needed to step down from.
Not only that, they were going to lose money too. PayPal was saying they were going to.
Oh, that's when it got tricky, Lo. That right there, that's when it got tricky. Don't think that the slap on the wrist, that's sensitivity training. Forget all of that.
But that's the reason that bothers me with the NBA. We ain't got to spend too much time on it, but like it's like why? And that's why even going back to the Celtics thing, like things don't add up. So what are you doing? Are you trying to do things to save face, or you genuinely believe this? So Robert Sarver out
with a safe face.
Yeah, you just doing things a really safe face. You ain't really doing nothing because Robert Sarver got out not because y'all was hard on what he was doing. No. It was just because money was at stake, and then y'all decided to pivot. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the Ime thing. Like, are y'all really hard on this? Because if you was really hard on this, it wouldn't have taken you this long to really come to this conclusion. So, like, you juggling with this, but now because you're trying to save face, now you got to come with some type of conclusion. If that's really what it was, because if you was really hard on the concept that you can't be in with a relationship with nobody that you work with, then she shouldn't even been working there. Because again, her husband works for the organization, so she shouldn't even been working in the first place. But are you really hard on this, or are you just you saving face? So that's the one thing I don't like. But
ain't that on the application, Ron? I'm pretty sure that's on the application with the Boston Celtics. Do you have any family members who work here? I'm pretty sure that's on the application.
It probably is.
More than likely.
I'm sure.
All right.
As a VP myself, I'll let you know we can pull some strings.
I bet you could. I bet you can. I bet you know some people.
All right, Charlotte. Let's keep it pushing. I'm curious to know how that head coaching situation is going to resolve itself in the future, and what the Celtics are going to look like this next year. Only time will tell. I'm gonna get into our final topic of the day. Before I do that, I'm gonna read off a couple super chats. My man Traveling Trav said, "What top 5 player Giannis beat postseason aside from a shorthanded KD? Does head-to-head matchups matter?"
Shorthanded? What are you talking about? KD beat LeBron. KD beat Kevin Durant. He's beat dudes shorthanded when he's been playing. Right. When Kevin Durant was in the finals, didn't LeBron and them have dudes that was hurt on that team?
Yeah, Kyrie Erving was gone.
Right? So get out of here, bro. Can y'all cut this foolishness out, man?
Yeah, get that out of here. That's
I don't know why.
Dudes that's been hurt. Man. Cut it out, man.
I don't know why we also like simplify it to like one player on an entire team, as if like that Miami team wasn't like a really good team, as if like people just act like Phoenix is just a bad team all of a sudden. Like I don't like somehow, some way the team with like the second best record in the Western Conference.
Top 20 players.
Bro, here's why that's cap. They were up. They were
and then they were up too.
Down 2-0. Yeah, they were down 2-0. Came back and won. And watch this. Giannis was hurt. So what the hell is these people talking about?
That is true. Giannis was hurt in the beginning of that series. Phoenix was a top 10 offense and defense.
Not only that,
they had the second best record in the entire league. How is that team not good?
And name 3-point guards in the league at that time. Name 5 point guards in the league at that time that was better than Chris Paul. Name them.
And Chris Paul was in the middle of a postseason run, basically averaging damn near like 20 and 10 or something like that.
That's exactly what he was doing, Lo. That's exactly what he was doing.
So I don't like what y'all arguing. I don't understand that argument at all. Like, that don't make no sense.
All right, y'all. On to the next. Peachy Brown with the super chat. She said, "Discovered your show through TicketTV. This is a great panel full of very intelligent minds. Appreciate that." No, Peachy, we appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're supposed to say, "Good day, Peachy." Good day, Jillian.
All right, last one we're going to do before we get into our final topic of the day. My man Mad Max shot another one in. He said, "Dr. J better than KD, better leader, better defender. If we look at the Doc career, ABA and NBA achievements, it's very similar to Kobe or LBJ. Doc was making finals and losing to super teams just like Bron. So Doc over KD."
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
I got those two dudes ranked right behind.
I'm about to say I don't I think I don't know. I think people say that. And I don't think they really understand. Like, yeah, Doc. Maybe y'all just don't know enough about Doc. But yeah,
Right.
Doc is,
It ain't
Doc
like
is like right outside the top 10. He's one of those players who should be right outside your top 10.
Right. I got. It ain't like I got KD here and I got Doc here.
Yeah,
I mean,
those
those dudes are not that far apart.
We're
talking about Dr. J, who he took his team to the NBA Finals 4 times in 6 years. Now, of course, they lost to the Trailblazers, who had a damn good team, but they also lost to the Lakers, who had Jabbar and Magic.
27th all time, and KD. If you got a problem with it, pull up on the panel. We know you like to troll. We know that you love the game. You watch the videos. Pull up on the player's choice. Straight like that. You can come in and you can go one-on-one with the great ones. You great and we great.
Doc was instrumental to the game and how important he was to the game. So to say that Doc, I got Doc right outside the top 15. I got him at 16, but him and KD are right next to each other. So it's not like it's a situation where KD and Doc are like this. No, I don't think so
at all.
So you think Doc would? You think Doc wouldn't have won a chip with all the talent that KD had?
He did.
Oh yeah, he would have.
Yeah, in fact, that's how he won it. That's how he won it, though.
Yeah.
That's how he won it. Yeah, that's how he won
it.
I'm saying
no. I'm saying for his whole career. Look at
that's what I'm saying. That's how he. I'm just saying, like, of course he did, because when he got that type of talent, he won. Also, hey, I don't know. Maybe people just don't speak enough about Doc, but Doc was like pushing those Celtics teams with like 7 games. Like,
people don't speak enough about Doc.
You said AI legend?
No. I'm still talking about Doc. Doc was pushing them Celtics teams to like 7 games before Moses got there. Like, I don't understand like why. I don't know what we were talking about right now.
People don't know because they didn't see him play.
Right.
That's really all it was, right? Like, first, because not most of his stats, but the NBA, if you remember, the ABA stats weren't included in the NBA stats. It combined at one point. Like, that's fairly recent that they put it together. And people in the early 80s or mid 80s, most of the people we're talking to or that are putting in the chat, they didn't see Doc. So it's tough when you don't see a player.
Yeah. And I caught Doc. I caught Doc on the other side of who he was. I didn't catch Doc until he was the other Doc. He still was awesome, but I didn't catch him until he was on the other side of it.
Those Philly teams are also very underrated.
They were. Absolutely, they were. When you look at, Doc did have them up 3-1 in the series, and they did lose. However, they did the same thing the next year. They were up 3-1, and then they ended up smoking Boston in 82. And they lost to the Lakers in 82, and they beat them in 84. They beat them in 83. But the Eastern Conference, it was Philadelphia. They saw the Lakers 3 times in 4 years. So they saw him in 80. They saw him in 80. They saw him in 82, and they saw him in 83. And those Laker teams, with the exception of Magic, Jabbar, when they finally got James Worthy, who didn't even play in that series in 82.
So why are you putting KD close to Dr. J if he wasn't doing nothing close to Dr. J?
Well, when I think about KD, I think about him from his skill set, and I think about what he produced.
George Gervin had a lot of skills. Where that put him on? Well, you got him on your all-time list.
I don't have George Gervin at. Well, George Gervin didn't win like KD did. Now, KD.
Oh my God!
KD had a super team. KD had a super team. George Gervin
was. George, to be fair, George
Gervin. KD did get to the NBA Finals. George Gervin never did that.
Come on, he got and he was up,
right.
And got smoked.
He still did that though. He still got to the NBA Finals. Not only did he get to the NBA Finals, KD, before he went to Golden State, can we stop acting Ticket like for 5 years he wasn't the top 3 player in the world before he went to Golden State? Let's stop acting like KD was just a good player.
You said the same thing about George Gervin, though, could you not?
Right.
I'm sorry.
You said the same thing about George.
I could say the same thing about George Gervin, but he wasn't doing what KD was doing at that time, especially in terms of postseason stuff. The Spurs only went to the Western Conference Finals one time.
He was playing against tougher competition all the way around the board, man.
Who?
George Gervin? No, he wasn't.
No, he
was playing against tougher competition.
No, he was not. No, he was not. When I think George Gervin did not have to see any team George Gervin saw was not close to any team that KD saw. That San Antonio team.
He had a super team.
No, he didn't have a super team in Oklahoma City. And that team was built.
They definitely was a super time out. Him, Russ,
Draft.
They also had time out. They had. I'm gonna go back to what he was saying. They had one of the best defenders in the world in Serge Ibaka.
Draft.
One of the best defenders in the world in Serge Ibaka.
Draft.
Serge Ibaka was average like what, 3 or 4 blocks per
draft.
game?
Got him in the draft.
Also had, say what?
Got him in the draft.
Right. I don't care.
James Harden got him in the draft.
I don't care if he
Russell Westbrook got him in the draft. Russell Westbrook.
But still,
He didn't jump.
yo,
He didn't jump
he
on a
wasn't-
super. He didn't jump on a super team.
But
They
he
built
also
that
wasn't
unit
what you
around
call it.
Kevin Durant. Not only did they
He
build
was,
that unit around Kevin Durant, they did a great job of building that unit around Kevin Durant and his
he
game
ran.
material.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't that
And
he
he
ran.
ran. He got smoked by Steph Curry. He got walked down by Klay Thompson, and he ran.
How many times did Iceman lose to the Lakers?
He ain't run. Time out. He ain't get
I'm
smoked.
gonna
He
say
ain't get walked down and run.
In 82, they lost.
I know, but
they lost to them in the West Finals.
you said better competition. I don't
KD
know. Like,
I don't agree with the competition was better, but
Yeah,
I'll say
no.
KD had more talent around him than
No,
Jordan.
that's fair.
you.
That's fair.
Thank
But
you.
the
I'll
say that, but he didn't-
competition is absolutely not. The competition, no.
What?
That's
KD didn't have. I mean, excuse me. KD didn't have more talent than OKC than.
Yeah,
No,
we
you
all
said competition. You said that his competition he faced.
I said George
to get to the
KD had more talent around him, but
Yes,
and to your point about George Gervin didn't have tougher competition.
he did not have tougher competition.
no, he did not. None of them.
All
None,
right, y'all.
No.
So none of the guys that was in the league was okay. Okay.
Let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. But shout out George Gervin. George, if y'all don't know, George Gervin was one of them real
What
boys.
era,
For real,
Ron,
for real.
what era did George Gervin play in again, Chilltown?
In the 70s and early
Okay,
80s.
and who was this? Hold on. Who was the top players in the league in the 70s?
Kareem and who else?
Keep
Doc.
going.
Who else?
Doc,
I'm asking you, keep going.
Doc, Kareem,
Keep going.
Jack Sigma, Dennis Johnson.
Oh man, it's falling off. It's falling off.
Elvin
It's falling
Hayes.
off.
Those guys are and wait and
Elvin
where are
Hayes.
those guys
Off.
in the East and
Wes
West?
Unseld.
And are those guys in the
Walford.
East or the West?
Well, Seattle was in the West.
Y'all disrespect the
Yeah,
legend.
Seattle was in the West. San
It's
Antonio was
falling
in the
off
West.
quick, boy. It's falling off quick.
Y'all
So-
disrespect the legend. So Wes Unseld, all them dudes wasn't all-time great players. Y'all disrespect
It's
the
falling off,
legends.
falling off quick.
You're saying the West. You're saying the West in KD's time before he went to Golden State wasn't one of the toughest conferences.
No, I
ever?
said the competition that he was playing in the league. I'm talking about George Gervin. I'm talking about in his era, the competition he had in the league. I'm saying it wasn't no bullshit to sneeze at. Plus, he didn't have as good as a roster as KD had with OKC.
Don't
Which
let me
would
get on
explain-
this.
which-
Don't
which-
let me
which-
get on
which-
the 70s.
Which
Don't
would
let me get
which
on
would
the
explain why KD was doing more when he was in Oklahoma City than what George Gervin was doing.
70s. Don't let me get on the
Because his
70s.
team was better. Because his
Okay,
team
right.
was
So,
better.
but hold on. And that's what I'm saying. But listen, his team was better, and he still wasn't winning a chip until he had to go join Stephen Clay.
That's
Well-
fine. That's fine. But he was still getting to the conference finals practically every single year.
Yeah, he was there three
had the
times in
best
5
team.
years.
Every year going into the league, he had a top 5 team.
But that doesn't cement you as a
That's not
conference
my
finals.
that's not that, and not only that, that's not my fault that they built a great unit around me. That's not a problem for me. Why am I under the gun because they built a great unit around me as opposed to me jumping on this, like you just
under
said,
the gun
jumping on
because
jumping
they
on a
built
super
great
team.
unit around you, and your ass ran to Steph Curry to your daddy.
9
Even-
years,
we
man.
only talking about OKC years. In OKC,
9
he
years.
just accomplished more. Like that's not anything. That's not nothing crazy to say.
9 years
just
he was there.
accomplished more.
9 years he was there. And in the 9 years he was there, made the All NBA team.
I want to say
Won
like
a league,
7 times.
won a league MVP, right? Won the league MVP, took his team to the NBA Finals, was in the Western Conference Finals 3 times in 5 years. Yo, that Oklahoma City team that they built around him was much better, no doubt about that. And the competition that he had to deal with, no team that George Gervin had to see in the NBA playoffs, with the exception of the Lakers in '82 in the Western Conference Finals, was as good as any of those San Antonio teams. None of those teams that he had to see was good as any of those Warriors teams. None of those teams. None of those.
Chat, don't have me going to 70s, boy.
Oh, San
70s is
Antonio
not
team.
it.
None of those teams were as good as any of those teams. So
70s
Oh,
is
I
not
mean,
it.
I don't know.
70s
All right,
is
all
not
right,
it.
y'all. All right,
Older
y'all.
Lakers team.
All right, Ticket.
No,
we gonna
70s
keep
not
it
it.
pushing before
You know,
we get
you
low
know,
in this 70s bag.
get mad. You know, Ticket get
No,
mad.
Kobe
You know,
Bryant wasn't
get
old by
mad
then.
when he has to
LeBron was
defend
already over
LeBron.
with. When KD
That's
and
not
them
cool
beat
when I got to
Kobe and
defend
them,
KD.
he
So
was
please
done.
let's move on.
Durant,
They were
let's
yin-
not
they
get
were
on the
yin-
70s. Let's not get on the 70s. Please, let's not. bro.
All right, here's what we're gonna do next. I got a list of all-time scores, all-time players, and I need you guys to rank these 5 guys in terms of how you rank your scores.
Mhm.
So either you can list the guys off and then say, I got them listed like this because this is how I rank scores,
Mhm.
or you can say how you rank scores and then list your guys off. Fluent, I'm going to start with you. And here are the 5 guys. We were talking about them earlier. We have Paul Pierce. Next, we have T-Mac. Next, we have Clyde the Glide Drexler. Next, we have Miller Time Reggie Miller. And last but not least, the human highlight reel, Dominique Wilkins. If you need me to list them off again, I will.
No. I got it. It's just when I look at how I'm going to rank them in terms of their scoring, it's a couple of things. One, I care about who scores the most points. That actually matters, like points per game. That's important. To a lesser extent, because efficiency is such a tough thing to prove yes or no, so it's not the most important thing. The thing is with these guys, and then at their best, who would I want on my team? Who can I trust to score the bucket? So part of that is like eye test trust, right? So I'll give you the 5 in order, and then I'll kind of explain why. So I think it's actually pretty easy that Dominique is 1, and then after that it's close. It literally is close after that, because then I've got Clyde, T-Mac, Paul Pierce, Reggie. The reason I have them in that order is when you look at their careers. Now, they had some peaks. Don't get me wrong. When you look at their peaks, Reggie's the one that averaged the lowest for his career. Reggie's the one, although he was the highest percentage in terms of shooting, he's also the one who his best season was the lowest points per game. That's why I have him 5. Although I trust him, he's clutch, but that's why I have him at 5. And then Clyde, T-Mac, and Pierce, dude, literally, they all averaged about 20 per game for the season. I think T-Mac, his best season was 32, but that's my order. It's super close. Even you look at their percentages, like 43 and 33 from 3. All of that stuff is clear. So it really comes down to who I trust and eye test. That's where my 5 comes from.
Got you. Lo, how are you feeling about this list? And how would you rank it?
So the way I rank things is volume, efficiency. And then is all of that being kept or increased when you go into the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, I got Clyde at the bottom. After Clyde, I got after Clyde, I have Paul Pierce. After that, I'm gonna go.
Why is this so tough for you, Lo?
Because no, it's tough because I think Pierce, Reggie Miller, and T-Mac are fairly close. I think they're close. I have Drexler. I still have Drexler at the bottom though.
So you got Drex at 5.
I'm gonna go Pierce at 4. I'm gonna go Reggie, T-Mac,
Reggie at 3. Tracy McGrady at 2. I'm
gonna go Dominique. Now I can easily put T-Mac a little lower though. I favor Reggie, even though people think I hate Reggie Miller. I favor Reggie for what he did in the playoffs. Right. Very, very impressive postseason wins. Very impressive.
Gotcha.
And I have Reggie at 5 because I don't like Reggie.
Oh wow.
Because you don't like him.
I'm being honest.
All right, Ticket. I need you to talk to us on how your list is constructed.
I test Dominique Wilkins, number 1, human highlight reel, and his numbers were stupid. He can score in various ways, more than what people thought. It was just more than a dunk machine. He had a nice mid-range jump shot. Yeah, Dominique Wilkins had a nice offensive game. It never really gave him his credit he should have had, period.
38% from 3 in 91. Like, the guy could shoot.
But nobody will ever tell you about that. Next, T-Mac. I got T-Mac next. T-Mac, couple scoring titles. T-Mac, big-time scorer in NBA history. I'm going with T-Mac next. Then after that, I'm going with Clyde the Glide. You understand what I'm saying? And then after that, I'm going with the true Paul Pierce. And then after that, I'm going with Reggie Miller. The reason why I got Reggie Miller last is because Reggie wasn't a dynamic scorer. He was a good scorer. He wasn't a dynamic scorer, so I can't put him there. Paul Pierce above him because Paul Pierce was a good scorer. He wasn't a dynamic scorer. He wasn't a Kobe Bryant type of scorer. He wasn't. So that's why I rate those guys like that. I thought Clyde was just a slightly better offensive player than Paul Pierce. I think T-Mac was superior offensively than those guys, even though he didn't achieve as much as those other guys. And then Dominique Wilkins, man, he's just a guy. I mean, listen, man, if Dominique Wilkins had any type of serious help, we'd all have him way higher on our all-time list because now I'm going to have a couple championships.
Yep.
So I'll tell you what, Ron.
Probably would have had a couple, at least one MVP.
At least one MVP.
And
he was never on the top.
The best player Dom had.
If he had a top-seeded team, he would have won at least one MVP.
Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is the dude he had his second best player. That was his second best player.
Rivers.
Yeah.
Right.
Doc Rivers. That's who he was running.
And shout out to Doc. Doc is great. but that was the best player he had that whole time, damn near.
Mhm.
And you looking at the dudes he was playing against, he was going out against Larry. He was going out against the Bulls and them. So he wasn't going out against no chumps. He was going out against Larry, Isaiah, and Mike. Those are the only teams he was losing to.
Dominique, for his career, from when he came in until he left, had to compete with, I want to say, 4 of the consensus top 6 players of all time.
He did.
Just think about it, because he played against Kareem, against Jordan, against Magic, and against Bird. So most people have those 4 in their top 6.
And was still winning.
That's where he was playing. So
and some of those seasons was still.
And he was on a bad team.
How many games? How many games?
What he winning 50 games some of those seasons?
I thought you said 60. I was like,
no, I said 50. And he wasn't getting swept by Mike and them. He wasn't getting swept by Mike and them. He got swept by Larry and them, and by Isaiah and them. Those are the only 3 guys he was losing to on a repeat.
Well, he got swept by Mike in '93, but
okay, that's the only year
they were over.
That's the only year.
By '93. Yeah.
That Bulls team was a different team. But to answer,
also he was losing to the Bucks. He was losing to the Bucks.
We would have gave him. Let's say we would have gave Dominique a guy like Hakeem just at the center, or Pat Ewing. What he would have did? What you think he would have did?
take it a step. Not even Hakeem. I don't even want him playing with him. Give him Isaiah Thomas. Give him him. How about that?
Where we talking about him all time?
Yeah, we talking about him. We talking about a completely different. If we giving him a distributor like Mark Price, Mark Price running around with Dominique Wilkins for 8 years. With Brad Daugherty. Take Ron Harper off that Cleveland team and put Dominique Wilkins on that Cleveland team. I think
Mars is hilarious.
I think we got something completely different going on now.
It's true.
Now,
I'm talking about Mars. Mars in the chat said efficiency is tough to prove. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, so Dominique Wilkins is at the top of the list because we got a dude who had a 7 years. I think he had an 8-year stretch where he averaged 28 a game. So I don't know how many dudes we got running around at almost a decade. They're going 30 a game. I don't know how many dudes we got running around like that. He was chasing Jordan all of them years for that scoring championship. Y'all gonna kill me for this, but I think Tracy McGrady is a little bit overrated as a scorer. And the reason why I think he's a little bit overrated as a scorer, because I think a lot of you guys look at skill set and you guys minimize his production. I think a lot of that stuff looks good. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of that stuff looks good. But I think that Tracy McGrady, the first thing that you're going to tell me is the crew that he was on. Well, the crew that he was on, I've seen a lot of guys that were on good crew. I've seen a lot of guys who were on bad crews who were really efficient. I seen Jordan, who played with the Bulls. His second best player was Sam Vincent. His third best player was Charles Oakley. He still managed to shoot over 50% from the floor. I've seen great scorers who've had not so good teams and still be able to be more efficient.
So why is T-Mac in the Hall of Fame?
That's a good question. That's a damn
because they put too many in the Hall of Fame.
You know why? Because if you ask any NBA player, a majority of them will tell you that T-Mac is a top 10 talent in NBA history. A lot of people think T-Mac is that great of a talent in NBA history.
Even if that's true, right? Even if that's true, the production, what I saw in terms of him producing, that didn't match the skill set. Because I look at a guy.
He led the league in scoring twice.
I'm about to say I can't say that.
I watched Tracy McGrady.
The only reason why his average started going down is because he hurt his back in Houston.
But even for a 7-year stretch, he's averaging 27 points.
And with that 7-year stretch, I'm glad you brought that up, Lo, because the year that he led the league in scoring, averaging 28, shot 41% from the floor. Barely 41% from the floor that year. That's number one. Number two, those 7 years, that 7-year stretch that you also bring up, just so you know, he averaged 70 games a year and he started 69 of them. So let's dead the logic about him being injured. We can kill that logic right now. Not only that, I'm not done. Not only that.
Hold up, Ticket.
Not only that, T-Mac was also averaging, on average, he was averaging about 35 minutes a night. Those 7 years. So let's dead the logic to back. One, he was hurt because he was in the lineup on the regular. Not only was he in the lineup on the regular, he was playing on the regular.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he stopped putting on those scoring years because the year he hurt his back in Houston, after that was it for him.
What was the year he hurt his back? No, so that was in the year he played.
I think it was 08 or 09.
Okay, no, it wasn't. It was in 05. Okay, I'm glad. You're right. 05, where he played 47 games. Well, the next season after that, can we not leave out the fact that which was I believe it was the next season after that. The 06-07 is when he hurt his back. The next season after that, when he was in Houston, he made third team All NBA. That was the year that they won 20 straight games. 21 straight games. He was third team All-NBA, which means he still was elite. Add that to the fact that I believe he played 70 games that year and averaged 33 minutes a game. Still averaged 22 a game during that stretch, but he was not nearly as efficient as anybody would talk about. When I think about Tracy McGrady, I think about a guy who was awesome in terms of a skill set, but the production didn't match it. And the reason why it didn't match it.
So you think Paul Pierce was a better scorer than him? You think Reggie Miller was a better scorer than him?
I was getting to my point.
All right, go ahead,
I was getting to my point. The reason why I feel like that is because I feel like Tracy McGrady, number one, he took a lot of bad shots. And that was one of the main reasons why he wasn't efficient. He took a lot of bad shots. I saw Kevin Durant with guys 2 and 3 guys hanging on him, and he still was more efficient than him. When I see Tracy McGrady playing with the guys that he was playing with, if he would have been he could have been more efficient if his shot selection was better. Now his shot selection wasn't better, and the reason why it wasn't better is because the label on him was he was on a bad team. I saw plenty of guys on bad teams. Not only have I seen plenty of guys on good teams and on bad teams take better shots.
But
so the fact that he was on a bad team, that's exactly what it does. Because
people use that to kill Kobe.
That's exactly what it does.
Judge your
yes, it does, because your shot selection. Yes, it does, because if you're shooting fall away threes,
tough to prove efficiency, bro.
No, it's not that. It's not that tough.
It's not at all, because if you're shooting fall away threes when you got 2 guys hanging on you, that's a bad shot.
Vince used to do it.
That is a bad, right, and it's still a bad shot. If you're shooting fall away 20-footers and you got 2 and 3 guys hanging on you, those are bad shots, and that affect efficiency. So we can dead the injury logic, and we can also dead him being on bad teams, because like I said, I watched him in Houston. He was not only was he a top 15 player, he was also playing with a top 15 player when he was in Houston.
Scored the same after he hurt his back. He never scored 27 a game.
But he still was playing. He still was playing at a high rate. He still was playing.
I just want to know why Paul Pierce is higher, because Paul Pierce also, like, a lot of things you're saying right now.
Are we gonna all do our 5 again, Ron? Because I'm sure you want to clip it, right?
Yeah. Let's everybody do it one more time.
Oh, well, he not finished. I want to just hear the rest of his.
Yeah.
I still have Tracy McGrady where he is, and after that, I got Drexler. And the reason why I got Drexler had a 6-year stretch, not 5 years. Drex had a 6-year stretch where he averaged 25 a game, and his production did not go down in the playoffs. He averaged 24 a game in the playoffs. So when I say go down, it was basically the same thing. I think Drex was a better transition player. I think Drex was better in the mid-range. Add that to the fact that he wasn't the ball handler that Tracy McGrady was. He wasn't just like Dominique Wilkins. He wasn't the ball handler that Tracy McGrady was. And I don't think that he shot the 3-ball like Tracy McGrady did, but he was a lot more efficient in his shot selection. So I would have to go.
Competition T-Mac was playing against.
What about the competition that T-Mac was playing against?
That wasn't one of the elitist eras of wing defenders in the history of the NBA.
Sure, it was. I'm not mistaken.
Okay, when talking about his percentage being down, you also got to talk about the guys he was playing against.
Absolutely.
When you're playing against guys like Raja Bell, when you're playing against guys like old boy from Memphis, the wing, Tony Allen,
right?
Against Kobe. When you're playing against all these dudes on the wing, your efficiency ain't going to be as great.
Right.
Shooting the ball.
With that being said, Drexler had to deal with Joe Dumars. He had to deal with Michael Jordan. He had to deal with Ron Harper. He had to deal with Eddie Jones. He had to deal with Dan Mar. He had to deal with a bunch of other elite wing defenders also. So it's not like it's just one-sided. These are the same guys that he had to deal with too. Add that to the fact that he was still good in the playoffs.
I ain't saying T-Mac was a great winner. I said he was a great scorer, homie.
And that's all we're talking about here. That's all we're talking about. We ain't talking about what he did in terms of winning. I won't even get into the fact that he never got out of the first round. Forget all of that. That's not important. We're talking about his ability to score. And I'm talking about Drex, how good Drex was in transition, how good Drex was as a one-on-one player. Again, he wasn't the ball handler that Tracy McGrady was, but he was just as good in getting to the basket as Tracy McGrady was. Now, after that, I'll go Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce had a little less of a production than Clyde Drexler. I think Drex was a better overall offensive player than Paul Pierce. Reggie Miller was primarily a long ball shooter. Reggie Miller didn't really play in the middle. He didn't really play in the mid-range as much. He was primarily a long ball shooter, and he wasn't much of a one-on-one player. He was more of a pick and pop, a lot of action off the basketball kind of guy. So if I'm going to go off the top again, it's going to be Neek, Tracy McGrady, Clyde Drexler, right next to each other, Paul Pierce and Reggie Miller.
Oh, so you end up putting T-Mac too anyway. Okay, it don't matter. I guess the Reggie Miller, I don't know. Reggie Miller's numbers in the playoffs are pretty impressive. Like
they are. Yes, they are. But you got to remember too, Lo, that when you're looking at a guy like Reggie Miller, the offense that he was in, it was a lot of off-ball action. See, what we're looking at today, when we think about a scorer, we're thinking about a guy that you just give him the basketball and he just goes, kind of like Jordan was, or like Bryant was, or like Tracy McGrady or Dominique Wilkins. Reggie Miller was not like that. He was not a guy that you just give him the basketball and turn him loose. He was basically a long ball shooter. He wasn't a guy that's getting his stuff off the dribble a lot.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But you talking about production. When you talking about production and loss of efficiency, like that is like the opposite of Reggie. Like Reggie went up in production and his efficiency stayed relatively the same. So like I don't like that's the reason why even with the maybe not as deep as a bag or the not having the variety of ability to score, but like just being able to score at that level and that magnitude with the volume and efficiency is like highly impressive. Like
you don't knock Reggie a little bit because he wasn't really creating his own shot.
Yeah, that's
but we comparing them to players when they create their shot, like he just said. Some of the shot selection was bad. So like I mean, sure. Which one would you rather have? Would you have somebody coming off the screens consistently knocking down jumpers at a level in which I don't think nobody else really in this conversation could have? Or someone who can just say they can create their own shot, but when they creating it, they're not making it anywhere near the same.
But the problem with that, Lo, I'm sorry, Ticket, to cut you off, but the problem with that, Lo, is that's only one side of Reggie Miller's offense. In fact, that's primarily his offense. Those other guys coming off screens. Those other guys, Drexler could come off screens. Tracy McGrady could come off screens. They might not be able to do it like him, but the difference is that they were able to be they were able to also be one-on-one players, but they could still come off screens and knock shots down. That was primarily Reggie.
Let me ask you a question about that. What you said. Put this in reverse right there. We talking about like a player like Steph and Reggie. Y'all remember the offense Indiana played in too? It was a slower offense with Mark Jackson running the point, and then you had Travis Best and them coming in running the point, right? So correct. Do you think if you put Steph Curry on that team in place of Reggie Miller, I don't think Steph averages 30 on that team. I don't think he averages 28. I think Steph Curry averaged around 22 points per game on that team because of the slow-paced offense they played, because the offense was so slow, ran by Mark Jackson. I don't think that, but I think that if you put Reggie Miller on the Warriors offense, I only think he averages around 22 points per game. I don't think he goes up to 30. So I think if you change both of them, they both average 22 points respectively on the other teams.
I don't know about
that. I don't say that to disrespect.
I can see what you're saying about Reggie. Reggie kind of takes on the Clay role, right?
I understand what he's saying.
But even if that's true, though, Lo, with Reggie Miller taking on Clay's role, he would have to play with better players. And that offense is a completely different offense in Golden State, where there's a lot more ball movement, there's a lot more action off the basketball, and there's a lot, and they play faster, which is conducive, and that helps Reggie Miller. So I think that he'd be way more productive in that Golden State offense.
Because Steph Curry creates. If you look at Clay is he's more similar to what Reggie Miller did, but Reggie Miller was a little bit different, but that's closer than him and Steph. If you look at it, Steph creates his own shots too. He ain't just coming out screen. Steph pulling up from 30.
That's what I would say too. Like, what would be separating? Why would Reggie be scoring volumes more than what Clay is doing? Like,
I'm not going to say volumes more, but I am going to say that he would have been more productive because once again, like you just said, Ticket, that offense was slower. Not only was that offense slower, you got big men. Not only was that offense slower, you also don't have the ball movement, you don't have the action, and the game is faster in transition. They ran more in Golden State than they do with Indiana, and that was a plus for Reggie Miller for his game. And I think that would have enhanced his game even more, considering the players that he was playing with, because he wasn't playing.
But Ticket saying he's averaging 22, 23.
Right,
so Reggie would be more like between 93 and 2000. Reggie was averaging like barely 20. So if he's averaging 22, 23, that would be technically speaking more than what he did.
I don't think it would. I think it would be a little bit more. I'm thinking more like 24, 25.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you switched it too, I'm saying that both of the two, I'm saying that Reggie's production would have been more like Clay's in Golden State.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that Steph's production wouldn't have been around 30, but it would have been around 22 with that team. Because remember, Reggie for his career was averaging around 18 with them. So I'm thinking that Steph would have ran out around 22 because they played so slow. Mark Jackson wasn't pushing the ball like that. Travis Bessington wasn't pushing. They were playing a half-court offense every single time, slowing you down, grind-out style. So if Steph Curry's doing that and coming off 100 screens like Reggie Miller was, he's not getting all those fast break possessions and all those ISO possessions that he get with Golden State. The game is completely different then.
I agree. Yeah, if they putting the ball in Mark Jackson's hand, then he not.
Mark Jackson is backing it down from half court every time.
Yo, I'm gonna need to go around the room one more time, and I want to hear everybody's 5 in order. Please don't cut nobody off. Everybody just give their 5. Let's get through this quick. Before we do that, I've been light on y'all with the likes today. I don't know. He told y'all about 3-4 times. Can we get the likes up? We're at 550 on the dot. I need us to be at around 800 before we end. Y'all, I see it's about 1,200 people in here watching the video, so we can for sure do that. I'll also put up a poll and ask, is T-Mac the best scorer on this list? 59% of you guys said no. All right, Fluent, can I get your 5 in a row one more time?
Dominique Wilkins at 1, Clyde Drexler at 2, Tracy McGrady at 3, Paul Pierce at 4, Reggie Miller at 5.
Low.
Dominique Wilkins at 1, T-Mac at 2, Reggie Miller at 3, Paul Pierce 4, Clyde 5.
Ticket.
Dom, T-Mac, Clyde, Pierce, Reggie.
Chill.
Same. Neek, McGrady, Drex, Pierce, Reggie Miller.
Got you. All right, y'all. We are going to end on these super chats. I got a bunch to get to. Yep. So, I mean, y'all don't feel the need to comment back to each of them with a long dialogue and reply. But I mean, you could definitely tap in. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all discretion.
No doubt.
All right, here we go. My man Jack Hack, he said, Ticket be spitting, but you be hypercritical at times.
Everybody's hypocritical. You hypocritical.
I'm hypocritical.
Everybody. Ain't nobody on this earth perfect. Hey, you see a perfect person, you show me a person that walk on water and turn water into wine.
And you saw what they did to him.
Next. Magic wasn't that way and won 5 chips.
That's a lie. Magic Johnson was that way. Magic Johnson was cutthroat. That's a lie. Next.
He did it with a smile.
Miss Lash Blade just donated. Appreciate you.
Mr. Slash. Dope.
That's not Mrs. Lash?
That's what it looked like, right?
It's Mr. Slash or Mrs. Lash? I need to know.
Miss Lash Blade.
Mr. Slash.
Mr. Slash.
It's Mr. Slash or Miss Lash?
I don't know. I like
man.
Mr. Slash Blade.
Yeah.
Mr. Slash Blade. My bad, Mr. Slash. That was nasty out of me. Yo, Jack Hack with a super chat. He said, just curious, what player made you love the NBA?
Mike.
Magic.
Doc.
Kobe Bryant.
Doc for me.
Magic. Oof.
I'm from the East Coast. I was born and raised in Jersey, and I live right down the block from Philly. So I was around when those teams was running around. I was a huge Doc fan when I was a kid.
They put me in front of a TV, and Magic was my babysitter. I'd sit and watch Laker games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you, Ticket. I would either have to say Jordan, if not Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
NBC, baby. Sunday.
Man, hey, no disrespect, Ron, but yo, just so you know, it was must see TV, man. On the Bulls on Sunday, NBC.
Oh yeah,
it was must see TV. It was must see TV, man. It was.
Jordan forget
for the win.
Yeah,
ever. But I caught the tail end of it where I was able to really tune in. It was like 97, 98 for me. But I remember that.
Went back to NBA and NBC for the finals and stuff. That was the best finals.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Damn, man, I'm young, man. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah. You missed it, Lo. You missed it, Lo. You missed some good stuff, brother. You did.
All right, Jarius Johnson said dark horse NBA champion if y'all had to pick now. We kind of already did it, but we didn't pick a dark horse.
Not a dark horse.
We picked our favorite.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think that there's any dark horses. The reason why I say that is who really comes out of nowhere and wins the NBA championship?
The Lakers.
No, the Mavericks.
No, the Lakers.
The 2011 Mavericks was definitely a dark horse. That's
Were
definitely
they a dark horse, though?
Yes.
No one was picking the Mavericks. No one was picking the Mavericks.
Nobody did not think they were going to go through that West and then go in and beat Miami. Nobody
The
did not
Lakers
think
were the
that.
biggest dark horse because the
I would
Lakers
even say the 06 Heat too.
Which year was the Lakers a dark horse?
No, I'm talking about right now. You saying
You're talking about right now. That's his
Oh,
pick.
you're talking
right
about right
now?
now, right?
Yeah.
You can
That's
make that
a-
argument that the
that's a-
Lakers. Yeah,
that's a-
you can
that's
make
a
that.
pick.
You can make that argument. Yep.
If the Lakers win the chip right now this year,
Yeah.
nobody would ever believe.
That'd
That'd be
be
the
the-
greatest story to probably
Yeah.
ever happen.
I'd be
That'd be the
surprised.
craziest dark horse, man.
Yeah, I'd be
Can't
surprised.
even
if
see
the
that
Lakers won
horse.
it.
That's how dark
Yeah.
that horse is. What?
Them in Minnesota. Them in Minnesota.
But hold on, no.
You ain't gonna see that horse coming, boy. That's a dark ass
Denver
horse.
dark
Right
horse.
I would consider Denver a dark
Denver
horse.
dark horse. If you consider them, that's who I pick. I know who it's not going to be. It's not going to be San Antonio and Toronto, who had their general manager and coach say we're not winning the chip this year.
Pop know what it is. Pop know exactly what it is. Pop know what it is. He looking at his crew like, nah, nope. No matter what we do this year, no, we're not winning it.
I was Masai was all we're not winning. No,
I
we're
had
too
no
young.
idea
No.
who to pick. That's crazy.
You don't got nobody left.
Minnesota is probably my dark horse.
I'm gonna go Miami.
Miami's not too bad. I was thinking Miami, but I haven't heard nobody show Philly no love, and I think Philly
Are they
is
dark
really
horse
a
though?
threat.
Because I don't think that's dark horse no more. I
Because
don't know.
they got James Harden, man.
Well, see,
One
you see
more
what I'm
ticket
saying?
one more time for the people in the cheap seats. I didn't hear you in the back. Ticket.
We got James Harden,
That's
man.
why. There it is right there.
And
Undoubtedly.
MVP this year. Didn't I pick him for the MVP? Weren't you paying attention last week?
Because Ron, who the second best team in the East?
I
Who's
call
the second
James
best
Harden
team in the
titties over
East?
titles, man.
I think a lot of people are. You guys got Philly being the second best team in the East.
Who? I'm asking you.
I think
Exactly.
it's Miami.
I was asking for you.
I think it's Miami.
They
had the
might
best.
have to stay Philly. I might have to.
So
But to
that's what I'm
me,
saying. At that point,
but you see what I'm saying? You hear
no,
me?
but that's
To me, I
what
think
I'm
Philly's
saying
the
though.
second
If
best
you
team.
think they're the second best team, that's not really a dark horse though.
No, I'm saying to me though, but to the general.
I can appreciate
population.
Ron.
They don't.
I can appreciate Ron.
They don't think he is. They don't think Philly is.
I think people have Philly as a top 3 team at work.
I got him third in the East.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think
I haven't heard nobody.
because James Harden on the team. That's why. Ain't nobody talking about that team because James Harden on that team.
One more time, ticket. The people in the back, they ain't hear you. Turn this mic up, yo.
James Harden, cheesecake.
Yeah, come on. That's why ain't nobody talking about him.
Cheesecake over
you gotta see it before you believe it. Now, come on now, Ron. I gotta see that first.
I don't believe they're gonna go. I don't believe in James Harden, but I do think, just talent wise, they're a dark horse team to go ahead and make.
You know who else they got on their team?
Who's that?
Joel Embiid knees. Boy, that's crazy. That's a crazy duo right there. That's a crazy duo.
All right,
hey,
next.
You see my twin Zion lose weight? I told y'all boys he lose weight. It's over.
Well, first of all, this is what you need to remember. To understand this, Lo, because I think that you've been unfairly critical of him because of that. First of all, yeah, you know why? Number one, he's only 20 years old. He looked like he actually grew. He looked like he actually put on. He looked like he may be an inch, maybe 2 inches taller. That's number one. Number two, he looks great. So he's still filling out. So we're talking about a dude who was a 19, 20-year-old kid. He's still filling out. His body looks great. And I don't think that this quote unquote weight problem that we were having, I don't think that that's going to be an issue moving forward. I don't.
Oh, I don't think it is either, but I mean, it needed to be still stated. Like, I mean, you gotta lose weight though. Like, it needed to be stated.
Kind of like they did with Charles Barkley when he first showed up.
I understand what you're saying. Like, he's still young, he's still molding, but he gotta do that though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's the next one, Ron?
Next one, fellas. Ironically, ticket, you just touched on this. Do y'all see the Lakers making it out the first round?
No.
Yes. Los Angeles Lakers this year are gonna end up going to the Western Conference Finals. Watch.
I got him in the semifinals.
They're going to the Western Conference Finals. Hey, watch. With Obo on the team, Pat Beverly, the way he's gonna push Russ, I think Russ plays a completely different type of game this year. I think he plays a more efficient game, similar to what he played with Houston, but not on a level of points that he scored. But I think he plays a much better, efficient game this year. And I think with Russ, his confidence will come back because he got a coach that actually believes in him. When you got a coach that believes in you, you play a lot better. He instills confidence in you. you play a lot better brand of basketball. Last year, he knew nobody had confidence in him. The whole city turned on him. It's bad.
What is your problem with your Lakers? I don't every time we talk about the Lakers, your face gets screwed up like you're eating lemons. What's your problem? What's your problem?
I really don't like nothing that they've done on that team for the past 3 years outside of get AD. I don't like nothing they've done on that team, but they let Caruso go for nothing. They let Brook Lopez go for nothing. They got rid of Julius Randle, didn't even trade him for anything. But they didn't. I'm not. Yeah, like Ticket said, I'm not the biggest Westbrook fan. It is what it is, though. It is what it is, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next super chat from Chase Stacks. He said, "Take AD out, insert Dwight Howard in the top 75."
Either him or Dame.
I'm good with Anthony Davis.
Dang, you mean him?
While you're at it, take part-time Bill Walton out of there too.
Hold on. You put Dame over Kyrie?
And Lenny Wilkins for
that.
I'm
putting Dame over Kyrie.
I don't mind taking Dame out for Kyrie either. I don't think neither one of them should be in there. Really, I don't think Dame or Kyrie should be in there.
Okay. I understand. why.
Yeah, to be quite
Dame
frank,
played more games and he kind of led his team more than. I got you.
I don't think.
Travis Lindsay said, "Is there a difference between?" He said, "Is there a difference between hurt and soft, Ticket?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And AD is both. He's hurt and he's soft. These are facts. The man is hurt and he's soft, right? And listen, I can prove it. Ron, once again, put me in the tight zone, Ron. Put me in the tight zone, Ron. He's terry cloth. That means he's very soft.
Oh my gosh.
He's terry cloth. That means he's very soft. Ron, he's terry cloth. That means he's very soft. Ron, he's terry cloth. That means he's very soft. Ron,
all right, no, that's enough, Ticket. That's enough. Let him breathe.
This is a
Let him breathe.
Wasn't he playing 2K and his own playing as himself and he got hurt?
Man.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. He's playing 2K. He's playing 2K as himself and got hurt.
For the season.
His own playing as yourself.
I really hope AD, if you're listening to this right now, do me a favor, my man. I need for you to dispel all the rumors and all the logic that you are soft. I need you to get rid of all of this logic because as of right now, the rap on you is that you are soft. I don't believe that you soft, but that's the rap on you. And the question is how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to handle that moving forward? Because not just these people that I'm listening to in here with me right now, the majority of the people that I talk to think that you're soft. And if that's not true, show them that it's not true, my man. If you listening to this right now, show it to them.
Man, you see how many picks this man has in him? And these are all different games. These are not the same games. I was like,
this is only in a Lakers uniform too, though. This is no Pelicans.
And they're all Lakers. These just the last 3 years alone.
Put me in the tight zone, Ron. This is the worst right here, Ron.
Put him in the tight zone.
Ron.
Those all might dead ass be different games. I don't think there's none of them been repeated.
Look at his teammate. Caruso, like, man, I'm tired of this dude's injuries, man. That's sad, bro.
AD, we were having a serious conversation just 2 years ago about you being the best four-man in the game. We go from that to these people, they think that you are soft. Yes. And I think that we got to get to the bottom of that, my man. And you're the only one. You are the only one who could dispel these myths about you, whether they're myths or not. You're the only one who can get to the bottom of this. So if you are hearing this, AD, I need you to get to the bottom of this.
Chill, I was on your side, Chill.
In his career.
Chill. I was on your side last year, but after I saw what Giannis did to him in them two matchups, I lost my mind. I was like, bro, there's no way. The gap should not be that wide. That gap was I was like, bro, Giannis is just destroying him right now.
Even before that, though, I was saying like AD can't get with Giannis.
It shouldn't have been that blatantly obvious. This year, it was so blatantly obvious. The difference between them two was crazy. I was like, bro, that's crazy.
Even when they're not playing against each other, the sense of urgency that Giannis plays with is not the
for sure,
that AD be out there. He's lackadaisical. Oh, I'm a crossover, pull up for a jumper. Oh, jog back on defense. Yeah, I'm a block a shot. I'm a dunk on something, but it's just they two different players in terms of just they grit on the floor.
This doesn't have to do with him being softer. Maybe it does. Why is he lying about his height because he doesn't want to play center? Who comes out and says that? Like, can anybody explain to me why he doesn't want to play center? Because he's much better. Like in today's game, he should be a center. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
He played the 5 at Kentucky. He did do that, and he played the 5. He didn't play the 5 in New Orleans.
I'm still waiting for. Oh, geez, I'm still waiting for a reason as to why he doesn't want to play the 5.
I'm talking to Anthony Davis specifically. If he's listening, my man, I need for these rumors about you. I need for this rap that they have on you to be dispelled by you. If you are not soft, make this logic about you go away.
Definitely want to see AD have a crazy year this year. All right, next super chat from Xavier NYC. He said Timberwolves Kevin Love clears any version of AD.
No. Before he got the 2 years before he got to Cleveland, he had 2 season-ending injuries. Kill it, man. Dead that logic.
Because AD is a way better defensive player too. So
on top of that,
and Kevin Love is another big who lies about his height. And another one, but
I think everybody lies about their height now.
But I didn't know how much he was lying. Kevin Love was lying like a lot. Like,
what is K? What
do you mean?
What 6'10"? He's
6'10".
No. Kevin Love is like 6'8".
He goes the. Oh, okay.
Okay.
From what somebody said, I think somebody said.
Nah, Caleb's 6'10".
No, he listed at 6'10".
He's listed at 6'10".
He's listed at 6'10".
But he's like 6'8". Like you go watch pictures of him and LeBron standing next to each other. Like LeBron is taller than him.
Oh, they're around the same.
I never trust those. I tell everybody. I've told this to Jay a few times. Like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley's my height. Mm-hmm. I've sat face to face with Charles. He's my height, and I'm 6'3". There's no, so I think they all. And I think
I'm looking at it right now. They changed it. Kevin Love even listed right now as 6'8". He's 6'8".
Oh, he's listed at 6'8". Okay, there you go.
They changed it.
I will say this. Oh, go ahead. No, you got a super chat. Go.
Savion S. He said, "How good do y'all think Demarcus Cousins would be if he never got hurt?"
Better than AD. Hall of Fame.
That's hard to say because Demarcus Cousins is another one who didn't play defense. That's kind of hard.
Hall of Fame for sure.
He would have been Hall of Fame, but
he had ridiculous numbers, like just
24 and 14 low at 23 years old. He was serious.
5 assists.
Like 4 or 5 assists routine.
On the offensive end, we might be looking at him as maybe one of the best offensive big men. Like
let's just say one of because Jokic.
Yeah, one of.
Yeah, Jokic clears him.
Bro, he's out the league today. That's crazy.
That is crazy. I think he's right at 30 too. And he's in shape.
All right, Tyler DeJesus or DeJesus?
DeJesus.
Tyler DeJesus says, was Giannis not holding his teammates accountable, yelling at them on camera in front of Game 2 of the Finals?
Has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about
what? Was he doing that?
I'm talking about the threat of knowing you're gonna get your ass kicked in that locker room if you don't come through and make them shots, bro.
He might be doing that behind the scene though.
Never know.
Giannis in the locker room talking like this. Come on, Gates.
No, he's not.
You don't know that, man.
I'm not buying that.
That is the worst Greek accent I've ever heard in my life.
That's what he doing. And I love Giannis. Giannis, my guy. I hate that part about it.
Yes, sir.
Mark Gamboa with another super chat. He said, "This panel is them." Fire
Thank
emoji,
you, brother. We appreciate you. It's about that time for us.
Mambo Multiverse with a super chat. He said, "The duration of his career without MJ, would Scottie Pippen be an all-time great?"
Yeah,
through the duration.
Mm-hmm.
So if he never played with Jordan, if he gets drafted by Seattle and stays in Seattle,
I do believe that.
Would he be an all-time great?
I do think he would have been an all-time great. Well, because you got to remember what kind of player Scottie Pippen came into the game as. Scottie Pippen came into the game as a distributor, as a facilitator. He grew into a defender. He grew into a scorer. That was his game later on, running with Jordan. But he was one of the big guards, one of the original big guards coming into the game in the late 80s, in 1987. He grew into that role as scoring the basketball. He grew into that role as being an all-league defender. I do think that he would have been great.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you this. I don't know if it's on behalf of Ticket, but I'm asking you for me. But I'm sure I think you'll agree, Ticket. Without Jordan, however, his mentality, even with Jordan in his early years, was that he was mentally soft.
Mhm.
If he doesn't have a guy like Jordan to push him to be tougher and to get up when he gets knocked down, does he just fall into that kind of
He's
soft
not a Hall
role?
of Famer.
Does he assert himself, I guess is the question.
If he doesn't play with Mike, he's not a Hall of Famer, bro. Period.
I don't think he's out. But could GP be that up for him?
Well, I don't know if they would have even had Gary Payton because I don't even think that they would have had Gary Payton. I mean, they ended up with the #1 pick in the draft. I think they would have been a lot better. I think that Jordan did mold him and make him tougher. But I do think what Jordan gave Scottie Pippen was he gave him that toughness. He gave him that dude that, yo, you got to show up every day. That thing that you have, you got to bring it every day. And he didn't do that.
So I'll say with or without Jordan, it depends. If he develops that toughness and that work ethic, then yes, he does. If he doesn't, then no. I think he's just an average player.
I think it would have been a little bit tougher. I think he would have been. I think he would have been much better than average.
Fluent,
I
he
think
gave me confidence because listen,
he would have been better, but I don't think he would have been a Hall of Famer.
When you playing with Mike, you feel like you're better than what you are too, because Mike is so great.
Yeah, you tend to play to the level of that that you're pushed to.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, you had got remember that's how J.R. Smith used to think when he played with LeBron. J.R. thought he was way better than what he was until you saw what happened in the finals.
That's what
happened. This is nowhere near on the same level. But I'll give you a 30-second story, but nowhere on the same level. I leave high school one summer to go to the University of Kentucky for a 2-week basketball camp. I'm not really known as a 3-point shooter. I'm now in a camp with, 30, 35 dudes. Roderick Rhodes, Tony Dell, Shepard, all those guys who can shoot threes.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, they're all shooting threes. What am I doing? Well, shit, if they're shooting threes, I got to shoot. I come out of there, like just
best long ball shooter that ever lived.
And I carry that on for the rest of my career. And it's because of those guys. If I don't go there with those guys, nothing. Yeah. So the level guys you play with does, I think, shapes you. Ticket laughing you.
I agree with you.
Because you've been there, right? You've been there. When you play with those guys. I even played a little bit of defense because of Tony Dell. I hate defense.
All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and bring this thing to a close. It was an amazing episode. Do y'all got anything that y'all want to say to y'all people, y'all viewers watching on the way out?
I have 3 things fast. 1, Fluent and Chill live on TikTok like in 20 minutes.
Yes, sir.
2, if you want football, tomorrow on PC right here on Players Choice Gridiron, we've got Steve Weish, the senior correspondent from the NFL Network, join us on the show. And then on Thursday on Fluent and Chill, I always say his last name wrong. Steve DeHare.
Terry DeHare.
Why'd I say Steve? Terry DeHare. He played for the Kings, played for the Clippers, played for the Grizzlies. He's going to be on Fluent and Chill this week. We got a big week.
Y'all be sure to tune in to Fluent and Chill and Players Choice Gridiron tomorrow night. Low and Ticket, what y'all got to say on the way out?
Check out TicketTV. Y'all already know TicketTV, pro basketball updates, and of course, the legend of winning.
Yeah, facts. There's much love to everybody who's showing up as always. And more importantly, the NBA season right around the corner, man. Media day is there. Sure, just moved in, so I'm gonna start cranking out more content for everybody. But as always, man, we'll catch y'all next week, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as you know, Players Choice, we will be on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Y'all come tap in with us. We'll see y'all bright and early. That's noon Eastern time. Until next week at the same time, we'll see y'all then.
Take it light, but take it.